This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
We got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
Hi, this is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans, and that's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Thanks.
Hey, folks. Welcome to this week's edition of One Nation Radio. I'm James Boyd, man. I'm Rich Latta. What's going on, man?
I have a lot more pride than the NBA All-Stars that lined up in Indianapolis about anything in life.
I would just limit it to that night, right? Right. I would just limit it to that night, but you got a point. I guess that's where we started, right? The 2024 NBA All-Star. Do you want to go with the weekend or the game?
So real quick, Sabrina versus Stefan was awesome. Like that's like the most thing. That's like the most impressive and fun kind of thing that I think that they've done in years. Even some of the the 3-point contest is like a baseline good, depending on how hot people get throughout the thing. But Stefan and Sabrina was the main event.
Yeah,
loved it. Loved what it did for Sabrina. Loved what it did for Steph. It was competitive. They were nervous. They were serious, and overall, they entertained us. Yeah, and that seemed like they found something, and they're gonna like try to make that thing bigger and better. Yeah. I didn't watch the celebrity game.
Well, hold on before we move on, because why is Sabrina so good at taking these moral victories? It happened to WNBA finals this year, and now this. We're all like, Sabrina good. Look at her shoes. She got a great shoe. Don't you want them shoes? Actually, I kind of do want them shoes. Losing.
She does have some hard shoes. Yeah. But yeah, she'll be straight.
I think she took over Kyrie's trap when they took. Hey, you want to do this? All right,
Look, John Morant too.
These future designs for you. Give me those, and we'll give those to Sabrina.
John Morant also.
I think, but yeah, you're right.
But yeah, dunk contest.
Well, hold on before we move on. You know who didn't get the good designs? Devin Booker. Oh, man. The book ones look like some forces. Sorry, I love book, but they look just like forces.
I got. Go
look at the black book ones. Them shits look like forces, basically forces. I don't know if you want to call them dunks, but they basically.
No.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Am I lying?
I see some red ones. LeBron pulled up with some shoes on that were super hard. They were like these Deion Sanders.
I saw those. I was surprised he was wearing them.
Super hard. Air DT Max 96. I think I am gonna have to. I may have to, find my way into some Stock X.
You know how they always, the reselling market and everything. Like, when are they gonna pull out the retro Vicks? Can they do that? Can they get away with that?
I'm sure somebody's making them.
Nike made those Vicks. With the 7.
I'm saying somebody's making reps or something right now.
Okay. Yeah. But I mean, like, authentics. Like, can Nike get away with that? Like, look, Michael Vick's one of those people that like that look. He perpetrated and he has like put in the work, right? But folks got a hold of. Folks still mad about them dogs. So if he ever, I don't know what he got to do, but if he ever come back, look, I might have to go get them Vicks. I want them Vicks so badly when they came out in high school. And
I'm in Atlanta now. Shit, I might as well find me a 2002 Michael Vick jersey. At some point, either the white or the black one of them. What they gonna do?
I mean, it is Atlanta. That's the one place you can wear that thing. That's the one place.
Yeah, but dunk contest, wasn't feeling it. I damn near fell asleep on it. I mean, it was amazing that I fell asleep on a dunk contest.
Bro, I thought, okay, let's be real. The dunk contest was perfectly fine, minus Jaylen Brown's terrible dunks. If Jaylen Brown is not in that dunk contest and is not an all-star and does not get that Wyatt Cenac dunk, or sorry, not Wyatt Cenac, Kai Cenac dunk where the dude is small, he's like he's dunking over Kevin Hart who's sitting in a chair, and then like puts up the D Brown arm after the ball goes through the hoop. Like, that got a higher dunk than like Vasquez windmilling over Shaq.
That's crazy.
What? Like Obi Toppin's dunk was way better than that too. It was like, wait a second. I remember like myself, I was like, bro, that's like a 42 dunk he just did. And then like they gave him a 47 in advance. I was like, nah, all right, man, we done. This cooked because he's a lone all-star. They've had to foot him through. It's cooked.
Awful. He had one thing to do. All he had to do, instead of trying to do this and all that shit, he could have done that, right? With a normal dunk, he could have took off and did that. However, all he had to do was pull off the jersey and have a white one underneath that said Brown. Like, it was D Brown. But it's him at the same time with the 7. It's the same shit. Like, he could have made everyone laugh and feel good. Like, oh, it's D Brown, but it's actually him. But who is it? Hold on, what's he doing? And then, do the dunk. That's all he had to do. But those are small potatoes.
Before we move on, the rest of All-Star Saturday, Scotty Barnes, look, man, there are some nasty, salacious charges being pressed against you on the internet community, and I'm not going to touch on them. I think they're kind of vile. When you lose your dribble in a skills competition, the folks that say those things about you, it ain't gonna make them change their mind. And it's foul what they say about you, but I'm pointing that out. I point that out, but we can move on from there. And then, they did they had Ant out there and he shot left-handed threes. He was clanking them hoes. And that wasn't good, man. That wasn't good. We want what's best for you, and this one was best for you, man.
A lot of the skills stuff, like, was kind of confusing. I was like, oh, now they're together now? It's like a team competition? Hold on, it's not.
It's like a relay.
Like, what's going on
It's
here?
Like a relay, yeah.
And then, like, they got all these big things where they're throwing passes and moving back and forth. I'm like, yo, this thing has gotten way more complicated than, like, it used to be. Usually they just had, the one obstacle course for your time. And I'm like,
yeah. Remember when
do we quit that?
Remember when you know why? All them guards out there getting their ass kicked by that damn bounce pass. That bounce pass is to kick ass all the time. Yeah, I think that's what it is. They were like, no, we got to change it up, but we got to still make it kind of hard. And then lo and behold, like what kept catch people was like, they didn't know they had to cut inside of the first obstacle instead of just veer over it. So that was catching them. Like, that caught Paolo. I think they almost caught a few other people. But yeah, it was just people learn these things, they don't know the rules, and that kind of flash forwards into like not caring, which was a theme of this weekend in particular.
Let's get to it, because what I watched was an absolute disgrace. The NBA All-Star Game used to mean something. It used to be like this one time a year where all the stars gathered. They'd have fun throughout the first 3 quarters, and then in the fourth quarter, it would be like, all right, the big dogs, all y'all check in. We gonna see who's who right now. Right. And it was like a measuring stick, essentially, for who kind of has the juice in the league at the moment. A lot of people say it's only an exhibition game, all this stuff. I think that is soft ass thinking, and I think that is a bullshit way to just hand wave anything. It's like, you don't have to care about anything, but there are a lot of people that do care about this All-Star game. That's why, like, we don't want it to go the way of the Pro Bowl. We don't want it to go the way of, like, these things that don't matter. Like, this game has a rich history. the award is named after Kobe Bryant.
One of the guys that always tried hard.
And what's happening now? Like, these people are showing up just shooting, like scoring 100 points and a half and shit, 200 points in a game now.
Yep.
Like, bro, take Kobe's name off the award if y'all gonna do this shit.
Like, to hear in the aftermath that like Adam Silver and Larry Bird and Oscar Robertson and a few other like legends, people connected, like talk to the players, and some of the players were like, yeah, man, we gotta actually give a fuck like we haven't done the last few years. And then they go out there and do it again and was like, all right, man, y'all, you know, people said the whole thing about like the buddy stuff of the picking teams, and, you know, everything else, and like the unloaded and the West being uneven in talent for all those years. And
then the West loses.
Let me finish. And then they go ahead and, out here and they flip it up. And they put it back to what it used to be to try to get people to, instead of doing the pickup game thing, people get upset and blah, blah, blah. That, like, maybe if, you know, they put it back to the conferences, they'll try again. And then they went out there and, like, it took 4 trips up the floor for me to hit you in Kirby and be like, hey, man, they don't give a fuck. They still don't give a fuck. And sure enough, the threes start getting thrown up. And, like, look, man, it's the NBA. It's the NBA in 2024. There's more threes than ever. The All-Star game, like, they have no conscience about throwing up a shot at this stage in the All-Star game that they would never put up in a regular season game. None. And, like, obviously, you know, defense or getting back or whatever else, that's always been a thing where guys are lazy to get back on defense in All-Star games. It's always the case, even 20 years ago, 25 years ago, 30 years ago. But, like, the whole idea where, like, dudes are cherry picking so hard, it was like somebody gets a fast break dunk and there's a media outlet like Kevin Love or Wes Unseld, like, no, or the Jokic, like, get out of here. Like, it was just back and forth, ping pong, and then, like, it was just very disheartening because it's like, do any of y'all, like, want to seize an opportunity for y'all selves as far as, like, people believing in y'all in that kind of way? Or is it just so far gone where, like, no, you're around all these guys and none of them want to try, and, like, if you're the one that tries, people look at you like you crazy, or you're the doofus, the dope that wants to try hard. It's like, I don't know, man, but, like, after the games, hearing Anthony Edwards say, like, yeah, man, this is our break or whatever, so this is a break, is like, this is a break for everybody for decades before you were born. And, like, not only is the case now where, like, there was more time added between the break now, like, y'all are trying even less than they did. Like, y'all have, I don't want to do the old back.
Like, when are we going to stop? Like, when are we going to stop coddling these niggas, like, and with this soft shit?
Look, man.
Niggas out here crying about possibly getting injured and shit. Stop the cap. That's not it. Like, because I know what it is. When people start saying shit in public that doesn't make sense like that, just say you want more money to play the game. That's all they gotta say. But they know they can't say that because they'll get fucking killed in the court of public opinion. Like, be like, don't y'all make enough fucking money? Like, and then, like, it's not an honor to come out here and compete and do this shit for the history of the league? Like, has all that shit gone out the window?
Look, I think that's long gone, where people don't care, or the guys just don't care about that stuff. But I think the main thing is, like, these guys are tired, but I'm like, yeah, but y'all are always tired. So, like, what's the difference?
Like, what y'all tired from? Y'all already doing all the low management. This is just one more thing in all these things in the league over the years that have just turned people off. The fucking super duper teams, the crazy free agency, this shit, like, with the lack of trying in the All-Star game, the regular season turned to bullshit. All the stuff with all the fucking trying to do the in-season tournament. Like, what are we doing here? Like, pretty soon, people will only watch the NBA Finals, and I think it's already headed there.
Nah, playoffs. I think we're already there. Like, it's last year was when it's like, well, for me, I was like, okay, man, like, it's been a few times you would see teams that would, you know, overachieve, and then they get in the playoffs, and it's a whole different animal because of whatever the team is in matchups or whatever else, and whatever glaring hole they have that, like, they were not pressed up against when they were in the regular season, because it's like, the way teams scout or advanced scouting is, like, behind as far as, like, the practice time, so they can't, like, prepare for teams on, you know, just on one night or whatever else, on the back-to-back, getting into a town late or whatever else. I get that. But once you got to send it for a series, it's different. and that's always been the case in matchups and playoffs. But when I look around and I see like, all right, the top teams in the like no team won 60 games last year. It's like, oh, so no one cares. No one just cares. No one cares to play their hardest. No one cares to like want to get a comfortable lead or whatever else and then take their foot off the gas. Except for the Nuggets. The Nuggets literally did that. But like people are just like, there's so many old guys now that like they can't do it every single night. There's like, all right, I can do X, Y, and Z. Let's just try to get a matchup in the playoffs, and then we'll bounce someone. Like, and that's what Lakers did to the Grizzlies, right? Like they got the matchup they were looking for. They bounced them cool, and then they also ran into another matchup they were fortunate to get with playing like a team that was so much smaller than the Warriors. And it's like, all right, man, like it's cool that like, you know, after the how bad it was for the Lakers and the Westbrook thing, that whole run to like them to have some spark of life, that overachieve in that way. But it's like, all right, well, what did I just watch for the past 6 months to get here, right? And obviously, there's always some surprise team that makes the Final Four, right? Like a few years ago, it was Atlanta. The year after that, it was Dallas. There's always a team that sneaks, or you know, remember like those was it 09 or 08 Utah Jazz, right? There's always a team that sneaks into a conference finals. That's not what I'm saying, but it's like, if these games, and I watch these games, and I've watched basketball my whole life, and I understand how hard these dudes work at the apex of it. I understand when people care about like a regular season game, post All-Star game, and then I watch guys' effort from night to night, and like I've seen these guys a decade ago, or you know, 7 years ago, depending on how old these guys are, from night to night, like play at a higher level night to night. It's like, all right, well, I'm not tripping. I remember how these guys used to get down. So is it just like everybody is tired, or what? Like what has happened to the schedule? What has happened to these bodies and these players? And how come these new bodies, these young guys, are still also like this too? It's so there's
the expectation has been changed.
So like the All-Star game is a microcosm of the regular season, where it's like this used to be a showcase event for you get the biggest stars in the league together, and like you get to see. Like at the peak of it, mano a mano, who can, you know, for a quarter or for 5 minutes, or whatever else, like them compete at a pretty high level. Was it playoff level? No, but was it like, you know, or was it March? Was it a March like Sunday game on national television? It will be that level of intensity. We don't get that
All-Star game. I feel like had its own like tier of like mythology. Even it's like. Now it just doesn't. And like I was like going through the years or whatever, and I was like, man, I think the last All-Star game to really like be something for real was like 2014. And then the Kobe year, like when he died. And aside from that, like we have lost this game. Like, and it really sucks because I grew up loving the NBA All-Star game. I had posts on my Facebook, the memories thing.
I had the same thing today looking at it.
I was like, man, I wait all year for the All-Star game. You know, I wait, to see these guys, do whatever. This shit's going to be great. I'm pumped. I'm posting about it 10 hours before it happens and shit. Like,
bro, we sound old now, but remember when Dwayne Wade broke Kobe's nose in All-Star game?
Yes.
Right? Like, what the fuck?
And then he kept playing.
Right. Like,
yes, literally. What happened to the game I love? Literally, Dan. Like, it's like, you said that we sound old. I don't think this is a thing of age. I don't think this is a thing of times changing or anything.
There's got to be something generational.
This is bad, man. Like, because like it didn't just start here. Like, okay, this thing has already been falling downhill.
Right. But this is the reason why I say this, right? Obviously, Caleb Baldwin, contributor to Social Suplex, he said like he didn't get why people were upset about it or whatever else. And I was like, well, I don't know how much basketball you ever watched, but like people used to give a fuck and try. And I'm not even going back like decades ago, back when Jordan played or when Bird or Magic played. I'm like, just go back to 2014, just a decade ago. They were trying hard, right? And like that was the thing that's like, what has happened in the last decade? Like you can't say, well, these guys get paid so much money or the schedule so much different. It's like all these dudes were making, or most of these dudes that were making All-Star teams had $100 million contracts then. Like, I think Jaylen Brown's the only person with a $200 million contract right now. Like, is that the difference? Is like, what's in between $100 million and $200 million? You know, and they do the, you know, $100 million cocksucker beat it. Is that what they're gonna do to me?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand like how the stratosphere of wealth changes your opinion of, or how you handle going through an All-Star weekend. I don't get it. Like, is there just a where everybody makes a gentleman's agreement? Like, we ain't gonna try hard. We gonna go home. You know, blah 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 blah. But it's like, I that wasn't the case even like 6 years ago. What has happened?
Because there was a report, I think it was Windhorse, that said the players have privately expressed like they'd like to, you know, get paid more for this game. I don't have a problem with them wanting to, you know, for the All-Star game, raise the prize money, whatever you got to do to make them play harder. And like, you know, that I think this will, you know, they're within their rights to ask for that, but they gotta, instead of them coming out here and putting a shitty product on television, fucking play, and maybe they'll fucking consider it.
I would say, like, I mean, Jaylen Brown, LeBron James on the Players Association, they were at the All-Star game. Isn't that collectively bargained?
Right.
What the fuck are we doing then? Like, you collectively, you agreed to this new CBA. You think the owners have been like, all right, the All-Star game, you know, like probably our biggest rated regular season property that we have. We want you to try hard. We'll shell out the extra, I don't know, $24 million, $12 million to make it play harder. I don't think they would say no to that.
Like, and you know, like, and like I said, since they can't say that out loud, because they'll get killed if they say this, and you know, whatever. They gotta say shit like, "Oh, you know, we worried about injuries. We just happy, you know, to get through the game safe." Of course, you're gonna get through the game safe. You ain't doing shit. There were 2 fouls the entire night. This is shameful.
I don't get the point. I just don't get the point of like Joel Embiid was hurt, right? He got his name announced as a starter, and then like they moved on. Like, if you guys want to do this, cool. Take your all-star what do you call it? Your all-star accreditation, not accreditation, that's not the right word. Like the
designation.
Your designation that like you were all-star that year, and we'll treat you like Pro Bowl quarterbacks. Where we're like, we'll keep replacing you until we end up with like the 13th best quarterback in the conference being in the fucking All-Star game or being in the Pro Bowl. That's what they do. That's what we do with Pro Bowl quarterbacks all the goddamn time, right? Mm-hmm. So like LeBron, Steph, Durant, y'all all 36 or older. Y'all old as dirt. Y'all want to do this. Jokic, he don't give a fuck about this extracurricular shit. He don't want to go. Luka, he don't want to be here. Fine. Replace with the next 5 people. If you don't want to play, don't show up. You're still going to be considered. You're still going to look on your pro basketball reference or your Hall of Fame resume and say that All-Star still counted.
Yeah, and
get somebody that wants to play.
It was amazing. Like the East wins or whatever, and you just lay these teams down on paper, and it was like, yeah, the East just came out here, and it was like, oh, the people that wanted to actually like run up and down the court won. Right. Oh, it wasn't necessarily even about talent.
The team full of young guys, but like there's only like 3 guys you could be like, oh yeah, that guy's definitely a future Hall of Famer. Like it was really weird, man. It was really weird. Like I'll make a thing and put it in the backdrop. You can see like difference of like level of player on these rosters, and it's like the West losing this is like y'all just didn't care. Y'all didn't care, and that's fine. Y'all didn't care, but like don't show up. Like
yeah.
Take the All-Star designation, leave.
Come up with a 3-on-3 tournament or some shit like that. Like,
would they try for that? Would they try because it's half court?
Yeah, it's half court. Make it a 1-on-1 competition, something. Have some pride. Jesus. Like I turned the game off at halftime. I knew what time it was. No pun intended, Dame Lillard, but it was like, yeah, they scored 104 the first half. All right. And I think the West was down by like 15 at that point. I was like, it could come back, but I don't care. And then Karl Anthony Towns drops 50 off the bench. Bro, if someone ever scored 50 points in an All-Star game in like, like 15 years ago, we would be losing our fucking minds.
Right.
But he scored 50 off the bench and lost by 25.
Right.
What happened here? Yeah, Nithman, Adam Silver is the worst commissioner ever. He's worse than Goodell. They do different bad things. I think people like Adam Silver, like he tries to work with the players, but I think he's given in too far. Like he's just is gone too far. Like everything with this shit, like just no, man. They need to tighten the belt a little bit. I think.
I don't know how you do that though, right? Like, I don't know how you fix this. I don't know. It just seems broken. It seems all broken to me.
Like. How does this make that All-Star game like remotely attractive to be sold like as part of a package?
It shouldn't. It should just. I'm assuming it's all part of the TV deal where obviously like the finals go to.
That's an extra game,
right? But like the finals go to ESPN/Disney, and then like TNT, because they don't get the finals, they get the All-Star weekend. I'm assuming that's how that works out. And obviously TNT. I think obviously ABC pays more or Disney pays more. But yeah, man, like it's
very disheartening.
It's really disappointing. Like
this is like one of the seminal things I grew up with as a fan of the NBA. Watching guys just play. Like I started watching the All-Star game as a regular NBA fan in like 1998. The Madison Square Garden, Jordan's quote unquote last All-Star game, the first part one. Kobe's first All-Star game. And then, like, from there, it was like, like 99, obviously, the lockout. 2000 was Oakland. It was on the West Coast. 2001 jumps into that huge comeback from the East,
right?
With the epic camera angles and stuff like that. 2002, Kobe in Philly. Gets booed out there, and that's like a part of Kobe Bryant's story. He got booed in the All-Star game in his hometown. Like, imagine if he didn't care.
03, Jordan's last actual All-Star game where he hits the go-ahead shot, then Kobe ties it up, and then they go to overtime.
Yep. And it's just like, 04's in LA. That was cool. 05, I remember, is in Denver. That's LeBron's first All-Star game. 2006. I think that's the first time he won MVP. 2007 was another Kobe MVP year. There's a bunch of Kobe MVP years.
You won 3, right?
4.
What was it? Was 2010 the year? Was 2010? What year was the year he had the co-MVP with Shaq? Was that 2010?
That was 2009.
9. Okay. Yeah.
Yep. And 2010 was that Dallas one. Over 100,000 people there. 2011.
Right. Now imagine that. Right. Now imagine that. Imagine them trying to do Jerry's World again.
People would not show up. People would not show up for that shit.
Right.
I know I wouldn't show up. Like, that huge, Staples Center one. Kobe's last All-Star game at home. Like, legendary game. 2012, Orlando, down to the wire. Kobe and LeBron. Down to the wire.
Was that 2013. Was that the one where LeBron passed out and then LeBron made that face?
Yes.
Okay.
Like we learn things about these guys in these games. We don't learn anything now, except no one gives a fuck. That's like what we learned.
Like the last thing we learned, in the All-Star game that I can recall was like, I forgot what year it was, but like it was one of them like LeBron Cleveland years when Embiid had finally made an All-Star team or made a second All-Star team, and he played well, and he got promoted basically to be in the crunch time for the East, and like. Or maybe it was by the time we were picking captains, I can't remember, but like you saw like, oh, LeBron, he's on LeBron's team and like he's out there and he's playing well and LeBron trusts him to do things. It's like, oh, this dude might actually like, he looks like he could be incredible, he could stay healthy, but like what could this be? And then what do you know? He comes with a perennial MVP candidate at last year's MVP. It's like, that's the last time we learned anything about these guys. And like outside of just NBA basketball, we learn things about people like when we see international competition. Like one of the things that let us know that Kevin Durant was going to be real was watching him in the World Championships.
Yep.
Right? And that was the thing with Ant this year, in the summer. It was like, we saw like this like rise he's having right now as a player to be all NBA came in the summer during FIBA or World Championships, whatever it was, in international competition this summer. It's like, I don't understand. Like, so it's like when maybe just we care about basketball too much, but it's like, we have moments to see this stuff, and people get to kind of see like where they're at and like where they need to and what else they need to work on or to get to the next level. And you rarely see that because like in the regular season, guys have so many nicks and bruises and so much travel mileage on their bodies, and they're fucking zombies. But so we really only get it during like after All-Star break and then in the playoffs. And maybe like the first month of this year. And it's like we lost all that. Like we got the end season tournament. That was fun. It absolutely was fun. But like once we left out of that, like what happened? Lakers was right to nose diving. They won that shit. And they were
I knew that would happen. By the way,
right? and as the season progressed, and like they've gotten on a high streak lately, like the Lakers. Like it's the ebbs and flows of the season, and it's like, all right, man. Like now you're here. You have your 5 to 7 days off. Time to refresh, try to recharge. You go into the back half of the year, and it's like all the stars, have been assembled. The Avengers, Captain America yells "Avengers Assemble," and they showed up, and they just showed up not ready to fight Thanos. They just showed up just in in flip flops. All right, man, cool.
Yeah.
But like, look at I put the backdrop. Look at like the talent disparity, right? Like this is the East. I'm sorry, this is the East. I'm fucking up. This is the East right here. Count them. Count the future Hall of Famers. The for sure future Hall of Famers. I got MB would be on this thing, but you got Giannis.
Yep. Giannis. You got Jason Tatum.
Yep. You got Lillard.
Lillard.
Who else you got? I think that's it, right?
No, I think it's too early for Donovan Mitchell or Jaylen Brown.
Oh, Jaylen Brown just made his second All-Star team. He ain't an All-Star. He ain't gonna be no Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
He ain't got no left hand.
Look, Bam Adebayo on some Ben Wallace shit, right?
He gotta win a title though. That ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
I can hear TJ now. Now look at the West.
That shit is the West All-Star shit is like Jokic, LeBron, AD, Steph, Luka,
Durant,
Kawhi.
You're better off kind of people that like you don't think you're All-Stars or future Hall of Famers yet, like Booker or Shea or
Edwards
or like Ant and Cat and Cat. That'd be so you got 8 Hall of Famers for sure, future Hall of Famers on that team, and I think Book like basically is going to be a Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, it's and they lost.
I think that the only step left to try to save this thing, if you were going to keep it, without some substantial raise in the prize money, is U.S. versus the world. And then when the world starts beating the shit out of us, we ain't gonna know how to act. Like it's gonna get real ugly out here.
But that's also another thing that's not a dirty secret, like a kind of open secret when it comes to this All-Star game stuff. Like, yes, there are people that are actually naturally better for the All-Star game than others, right? Like, just look at point guard historically. You put Jason Kidd on an All-Star team, your All-Star team is going to is going to have a good shot at winning that night, right? If you put Rajon Rondo on your All-Star team, you have a good chance of fucking losing, right? He's not built for the All-Star game for whatever reason, right? And then you throw in people that like, I don't know why the world versus America thing would actually make the Americans care. Because they don't care about this. So why would they care about that? And on the other end, when you do that, you're going to put Jokic on the international team, and Jokic don't give a flying fuck about being out here for this All-Star game. And I'm okay with that because any basketball he don't get paid, or any non-NBA basketball or non-regular season playoff basketball stuff, I know he doesn't. He's not gonna give a fuck. I know that. I'm fine with that. So when he comes out here and that's the reason why he's always gets picked last. You'd be like, why has he been picked last on this year? Because he don't give a fuck. He just going up there playing. Like, was it Bam that threw the ball off his ass on the inbound in the first quarter? He don't care. He just out there just lumbering around. And then back up the floor, all 94
It's kind of like how Duncan used to play in the All-Star games.
Say again?
It's kind of like how Duncan used to play in the All-Star games.
I think Duncan tried harder. I think Duncan tried harder. Especially on defense.
Yeah, on defense for sure. But yeah, man. I think I'm done. Kicking this shit out of this league.
Because the thing that made it frustrating for me, especially because like I did not watch since Kobe died. I have not watched because I just don't want to watch that shit and see any tributes to him, and then want to just feel bad for a whole hour, right? And then like I was like, all right, they went back to East and West. I'll see if they'll try. Because I'll say them scores and be like, no one's trying. And it took me literally 4 trips up the floor, and I just yelled like, bro, they don't give a fuck again. Why are you suckering into the East-West shit saving this? Why, like, if the team's being even based off of team captains or whatever we're gonna make it even, why would the West having 9 Hall of Famers compared to the East 3 make it competitive, make them want to try harder? Whatever, man. Whatever.
Man. Yeah. So let's move on, man. So I don't really have too much as far as like, you know, we could do a review and all that. It's already Tuesday. It'll be Wednesday by tomorrow. So I opened the mailbag and y'all came through with a lot of wild variants of things between the Discord and Twitter. There's even elaborate fantasy booking that I'm gonna allow into the room.
This must be from someone that we'd like to ask this question.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. There you go.
So, what wasn't a rando?
Yeah.
So we'll start with
somebody with like five numbers at the end of their thing that you're not getting the answer, bro. It's not. You want to ask us from your real account? We'll give you. We might answer it.
So we'll start with Black Saber Jr., longtime listener. He says, with AEW's roster becoming even more godly by the day, is Pac still in the top 10 in ring in AEW?
Okay. Based off of resume or match per match put out over time, you have to say no. Based on skill, he might be on the very edge of 10, and he might be out on the outside of the 10.
I think he's on the outside looking in at this point.
The thing with Pac is like, it's not necessarily that, and for my reason why I think Pac is so great, it's not necessarily that, he has a Will Ospreay match catalog or like a, 2017 Okada or Omega match catalog or whatever else. Is that like, I watch him and I see what he does and I see the control and like ability and agility he has in body control. And it's like, the only other person I think that I've seen at that level was like peak AJ Styles. As far as like he's in control of everything. And that's kind of like the way when I first saw Io, was like, I've never seen a woman have that kind of control of her body. So for me, I hold him in very, very high regard. But yeah, like, I mean, it's, he's not around enough to hold up that end anymore. It's the same thing. You're like, all right, where do you rank LeBron as far as best players in the league right now? You're like, Bullet in the Chamber. Yeah, he's still, like if you
dropped him in the C2, he would come out in the upper half of a block, like probably. Right. Like, but there's so much talent now. Right. Like that's the thing.
It's one of those things where it's like, hey man, like, one game or one match, sure. A whole year, we
can't depend on that.
You can't. It would be foolish to expect. It would be foolish to expect it because he doesn't show up for a month anymore. He doesn't show up for a year no more.
Yeah,
he's on load management.
Next question. He said, every new AEW wrestler has a welcome to AEW moment. It's not when their graphic gets shown or when they show up on TV. It's when someone on Twitter makes annoying / disheartening discourse about them. Examples: Deonna Purrazzo, Mariah May. So if these 3 wrestlers were to show up on AEW, what would be the annoying Twitter discourse made for them? Suri, Utami, and Speedball Mike Bailey.
All right, let's start first with okay, Suri. She works too stiff. She's gonna kill somebody. She doesn't know what the fuck she's doing. That'll be the thing. That'll be one of hers.
This is why she didn't make it in NXT.
Yeah, because she's so stiff. Even though like we saw her, hit that bottom rope drop kick that every almost everyone has.
I have to
update the background. Here we go. Yeah. Get the fuck out there and wrestle. Sorry. So yeah, man. That would be one for Suri. You said next one was Utami.
Utami.
Where's her charisma? What's her character? She seems very basic as a wrestler. What's so special about her? I don't get it.
Why the fuck does she come to the ring with a flower? Why doesn't she speak English?
I think they'll be okay. I mean, that goes with the saying, if they don't speak English, they'll be one of the go-to. But I mean, like, besides the obvious, bad faith one, the next would be like, what's her character? Or she doesn't seem to have, like, charisma or whatever else. That'll
flower discourse. Yes. Yes, flower discourse.
It's a flower discourse. Like, it would also be she wrestles a very basic style. She's a power wrestler. They don't, power wrestling here isn't that big of a thing or whatever else. It'd be very annoying. It'd be like, hey man, that's cool. That's cool what you saying. Like, here's a We Are Stardom link. Here's 5. Now shut the fuck up and leave me alone.
Speedball Mike Bailey. Where the fuck are his shoes? Like, that's
yeah.
Like, even though Matt Riddle was in WWE for years and years, it
would also be an issue with his look because he has the mullet and he's smaller.
Yeah,
it would also he doesn't stand out. It's another white guy. And don't be wrong, there's a lot of white guys in AEW. There's a lot of white guys in MRES. That's kind of how it goes. But like, Speedball Mike Bailey's been one of the best wrestlers in the world for the last few years. Like, just tearing up on the indie scene. So like, if he wants to stop by, I ain't mad at him. But like, I don't necessarily think he's needed either.
Number 3, which Mercedes match will be better if given time? Mercedes Moné versus Thunder Rosa or Moné versus Nyla Rose?
Rosa.
I have trepidation with Thunder Rosa from just not knowing her output right now since she's returned. And with Nyla, I think Mercedes has done a lot of big person, small person matches, and Nyla's like kind of adept enough, I think, to pull off something. I think like at their peak skills, I would probably go with Thunder Rosa, but like on February 2024, the match happened tomorrow, I might take Nyla Rose.
I'm not mad at that. I'm interested to see the match between her and Athena. I actually liked what they've done on, like, with them laying each other out and stuff. That's been fun to see on YouTube.
Zekamaki says, 1, book the next 4 AEW World Champions and the next 4 AEW Women's Champions.
Swerve, Ospreay, Okada, Hangman. That's probably not the right order, but I think that's the 4.
I will go Swerve, Ospreay, Okada, Kenny.
All right, give me a 5th. Who would have to take it off of Omega then?
Ospreay.
Okay. I expect you to say some shit.
Or Danielson. It could be Danielson by that point.
I thought Danielson was retiring. Or he's still... Is he really retiring, or is he retiring like Tam's retiring?
Bro, he's not gonna... I don't know how so many people are believing this. Like, they're like, oh yeah, this is his last year. And bro, he's
You wanna know why? Because he always fucking losing. If you gonna stay around, beat somebody.
Yeah, I tell you this bro, right now. I don't believe that. Look,
I'll tell you this right now. If I was Tony Khan and my champion was Samoa Joe right fucking now, after what Danielson has came back and reeled off in the back half of the last 6-7 months, I'd be furious that he's not my champion right now. But like, what the fuck are you doing? No, you're not losing to him. I don't give a fuck if you want to. And it's been your dream to lose to this dude for 5 years in Mexico. I don't give a damn. Beat him. Like, bro, he's so fucking good still. We almost dropped dirt on the casket like 7 months ago, 6 months ago, 5 months ago when he fucked up his eye. Remember that?
Yeah.
He might be the best wrestler in the world since then, if not second.
As far as the women's champions, Right now, Toni Storm's the champion.
Yep.
I would probably wait for Mercedes. I would go Mercedes next. I would go Queen Amanada after that and build that up for quite a while, obviously. And, Mercedes can hold that joint for a while and, and then Megan Bain, Mariah May.
I have the same three as you. I'm gonna say I'll say Deonna Purrazzo, Mercedes Moné, Mariah May, then Queen Amanada. That's how I think it might go. I think that like post Toni Storm losing the belt, like you're going to do the breakup crazy thing with Mariah, and that'll keep her hot or whatever else. And then she has to, once she does that and breaks free or whatever else, either as a heel or a babyface, whichever way, she'll then rise up the rankings and have a feud or two before she gets to the title. But I think Amanada, like she's already like ahead of Mariah, even with all the vignettes and stuff with Toni, because like she's in the ring and like showing the crowds like that she can really do this to give people the reason to believe her. And then she has like the backstory that's great. So yeah.
The second question was, can Tam replace Rossi as the next Booker of Stardom?
Who asked this question?
Zekamaki.
I think that Tam could be a Booker. Do I want her to be a Booker? Not necessarily. But I mean, I think Tam can be a Booker than what I've seen out of Stardom post firing Rossi? Yeah. Are there questions about Cinderella Tournament?
There are later on.
Okay, I'll save it.
Speaking of that, Black Sabre Jr., who y'all got for the Cinderella Tournament this year? He has Azumi versus Hannon in the finals with Azumi going over. So let's get to the 2024 Cinderella Tournament. And before I go through these names, I actually want to pull up some theme music, for... Hold on. Just give me 1 second. Stall for me, James.
All right, man. So I'm looking at Black Sabre Jr. He says Tam booking her friends on top like her like a 2001 white belt reign. Exactly. That's the reason why I think that she can book this, because she knows like, oh, all my friends like they hang around me or whatever else, and somehow they end up popular, and then like they get like the sidekick push or whatever, or whatever. We can or make them underdogs. Like the thing that's so funny to me is like why people like Mina is like, y'all don't understand. Like Mina is now what Tam, like we talk about the Wire people taking the roles that they previously that other people once occupied. Like by the end of the show, right? Like Carver basically becomes like McNulty. Michael becomes your boy Omar, right? Like Mina has become 2019 Tam, or except she actually won the white belt earlier. Like the whole thing, like you're an underdog. We don't know how good you are, but you have something here, and then all of a sudden you get a chance, and like you flash with opportunity. People really like you or behind you. People love like the lore stuff you do to bleed up the big shows, all that stuff. Like she got that shit off. Anyway, moving on.
So I do have it ready, James.
Okay, run it.
All the stars will be there. Saya Ida, Koguma, Hanan, Momo Kogo, Yuzuki, Lady C, Miyu Amasaki, Yuna Mizunori, Sayaka Kura, I can't say her name, Rana Yagami, Hakano, Xena, Natsuko Tora, Starlight Kid, Ruaka, Hazuki, Azumi, May Sierra, Suzu Suzuki, Mirai, Clap, Ami Saray, Waka Tsukiyama, Saki Kashima, and Mai Sakurai.
All right, man.
That's right. All the stars will be there.
Yeah, all the stars indeed. Bro, I saw that and I was like, what is happening? What are we doing? I don't get it.
Comment section blowing up.
I imagine they are, because they're probably like, where are the stars? Like, where are the stars? And that's my question. Like, Scott E. Russell sent out the thing
on my shirt.
Say again?
On my shirt.
Right.
He said, where are the stars?
Right. Okay, so I saw the thing, and obviously the Cinderella tournament, you know what it is. It's a breakthrough tournament for someone to get a title shot they may otherwise not have, or finally get the chance to show the worth and then like get the title match that they want and everything. And like last 2 years, Mariah won. She failed the first time, and then this time she won. Or last year she won. The problem is last year the tournament was the worst I've ever seen it, as far as the level of stars that made it to that advanced. Like if you go to 2022, the final four was Hazuki, Kaguma, Natsupoi, and Mirai. Last year was, on one side, it was Waka and Mai Sakurai. Was one half of the final four. It was like, what are we doing? What's happening? Like, it seemed like poor planning all around, right?
Look, it's like when them dunk contests just started, hold on, who's in this? Like, we got G Leaguers in the dunk contest now?
And then the final was Mai in there with Mariah, and Mariah's like, you want me to carry her? Really? You want me to, you that's what I know that's what you're asking me to do, but do you really, have you thought this through for real? And, right. It just didn't work out. And so like last year or 2 years ago when she won the Cinderella tournament, when she had to beat Kaguma to do it, and also had to beat Natsupoi in the semifinal, was like, okay, like, she beat worthy opponents. Like, these are people that could win this thing. And then she beats Mai last year. Just like, okay, man, like, this is just charity, it felt like, right? So, and, like, the 2021 was like, the final was Kamatani and Micah, and like Kamatani had to beat Himeka in the semifinal to do it. Like, these are not, you know what I'm saying? Like the goal, or how is it? The mountains have gotten smaller, seemingly. Yeah. And it's like, all right, now you look at this whole thing where it's like Stardom and post Rossi, and Rossi starting another promotion, and we don't know who's going where. It just leads to the inevitable thought is like, all right, well, how many people that are actual top stars in this promotion like are just leaving, and that's why they're not in this, so they don't do a job. And it's like, but these aren't jobs we're asking you to do. We're asking you to get thrown over the top fucking rope. You can't get thrown over the top rope.
No.
Yeah. So for me, it's been like, all right, man.
Gotta
like,
remain pure.
Y'all can't even get thrown over the top rope. Many times, look, Shuri get thrown over the top rope every single fucking year she's been in that tournament. And now she can't do it. Well, no, her first year, 2020, she got tapped out by Julia. But outside of that, she was thrown out every single time, right? Like, if I remember correct, I think Unagi threw her out 1 year, right?
Look, they should look like they could use Unagi Sayaka in this thing now.
But that's not even the problem. Like, the problem is they didn't put these top stars in there. Come on, think of all the red and white belt champions in Stardom in that time watching, right?
Yeah.
Is Mariah's the only one, right?
Mariah, like, getting, she still got to do karate with the little kids here still.
Right. They put it. Okay, so, all right. B Priest is in NXT. Or sorry, Kagetsu since we started watching on him, Kagetsu retired. B Priestley in WWE. Mayu not in Cinderella, even though she won the first two. I understand that not in there. Whatever. Utami not in it. Shuri not in it. Julia not in it. Tam not in it. Micah not in it. White belt champions. Momo's in it. Oh no, Momo's not in it. Momo Watanabe's not in it. Momo's not in it. First white belt champion we saw. Arisa retired. Julia's not in it. Tam's not in it. Kamatani's not in it. Is Mina in it?
No.
Mina's not in it. Obviously, Tam's two-time champion. Tam's not in it again. Mariah's in it. So we between all the white belt champions we've watched since 2019, we have rated white belt champions. Only one fucking participant is in.
No, why they ain't put Tam in it? She about ready to come back, ain't she?
Tam came back at the anniversary show. We didn't cover it.
She should be in this.
She's the number one contender for the next title shot against Micah.
Double up.
So maybe that's what they
double up.
Yeah, because that worked so well last time, right?
Yeah, right.
Fuck.
Boy.
Yeah, that's another thing. That's another thing. Like Zach asked, like when Tam Tam wants a title shot, earn it back via Cinderella tournament. She's too big for Cinderella tournament. It's a breakout tournament. She's main evented two biggest shows in the company's history and won both nights. Like it's over for her.
It's Waka time. I'm going with Waka. Waka Tsukiyama running it up.
That would be hilarious. Zach and Mike said Sherry put in her 2 weeks notice. I mean, maybe she did. I don't know. But that's adds to the intrigue of like who's staying and who's going, because it looks like it's all up in the air. It's all up in the air right now. We'll see. Black Saber Jr. says Waka win it for New York, the Queen of New York.
Yes.
Yeah, man, it's been it's really weird. We'll see. Obviously, like there's more dates. We'll find out more of this stuff as far as like what that card is looking like for All-Star Dream Slam Queen, whatever the fuck they're calling at the end of March. But yeah, man, it's not looking good when you look at that. Because, like, wow, the top stars can't even come out here to get thrown over the top rope. It's crazy.
MJ does PR. Are you buying stock in a post-Rossi stardom? No.
Not right now. I gotta say.
I am not.
Nah, not right now. After I see that, like, the Cinderella tournament, like, they putting a stamp on that one. Okay. And for those that don't watch Stardom and just listen to us anyway because of the vibe, whatever else, the Cinderella tournament is not a good tournament. The tournament that Stardom puts on that's actually a good tournament is the 5-star Grand Prix. That's the round robin. That is the G1. That is the Continental Classic. The Cinderella tournament is kind of like their version of the New Japan Cup. It's single elimination, but it also has top rope elimination. So like they used to always put their stars in the brackets, and then like you get upsets
double elimination and shit. Rope. They'll both fall off the top rope and shit.
Or
like
also do double elimination too. Yeah, they did that. I think they did that 1 year with Tam and Kamatani. I think
Julia did it 1 year. I think too.
Maybe I know 1 year. She took a fucking insane bump. Micah had her outside, or she was outside facing in on the middle turnbuckle. She hurts up Julia like a vertical suplex and then drops her like a brain buster, and she drops her on the turnbuckle like connector. And then she fell, and then she melted off the apron to the floor for an elimination. I was like, can we not kill the future champion, please, Micah? Thank you. Fuck.
Where does Bryan Danielson and Zack Sabre Jr. rank on your match of the year list? When I watch it, I'll tell you.
Same. Haven't gotten to it. I love the first match, but most people tell me it's better. So, yeah.
Does 100% vegan George Michael approved Techers meet the standard for RLPW? I don't know exactly what that means.
He's talking about Saber.
Oh, okay. Oh, so, he's actually like he's like the reverse RLPW kind of wrestler.
Yeah, well, you know, like he was trying to ask, you know, like someone like technical wrestling, you say is not RLPW until you see some good ass technical wrestling. You be like, that is RLPW, like Hechicero. So he's trying to see. Where
Hechicero was, you know, look, the nigga came out breathing fire, bro. Like
lion, the technical wrestling, the grappling, no, but the flipping grappling
came out and it was fire. You know, nigga was cool. You know,
trash. You know? RLPW is a scam. It just means good wrestling.
You know, taking a little bit of this money over here, putting it with this money, and then moving it around. You know,
Send his ass to jail.
King Dom homie. Who would be Uncle Ruckus's favorite and least favorite wrestlers? Oh my God.
Well, I mean, Cody.
Would that be his favorite wrestler?
Yes.
Absolutely. That man loves America.
Right.
Actually, he wouldn't like his wife, though, I don't think. Like, what are you doing?
We talking about WWE Cody. We don't ever see her. He have to Google that.
Oh, Sheamus would be his favorite. The white man. The great white. Yes.
Nope.
Yes.
Nope. Accent. Foreigner.
I mean, Uncle Rux would love Hulk Hogan.
Oh, yeah. Definitely would love it. Yeah. Real American would have been his ringtone.
His least favorite wrestlers would probably be The Rock. He would definitely hate The Rock.
Well, he would have hated him once he went from Rocky Maivia to The Rock, definitely.
Yeah. He would have hated John Cena. Like, oh, you trying to be a wigger? Like, I don't.
Did they ever have Uncle Ruckus tackle seeing wiggers? You're like, what is this?
What is this? You know. King Dom next with thoughts on Trump's new shoes. It's a top seller around your neck of the woods. Time.
He said that at the end, or you editorializing?
No, he said that.
Where's he from?
I don't know where King Dom is from.
He from America, ain't he?
Yes.
What are you talking about then? He said, it's in Florida. It's a fucking 4-hour trip or 3.5-hour trip to get Mar-a-Lago. But yeah, I'm sure. Nah, man, like it's America. Where there are white people, there are Trumpians. I'm sorry, that's how that goes.
I saw them shoes and I was like, what kind of a scam is this? And then apparently niggas have been buying those shits for 9 racks.
Yeah, I heard. So
unbelievable.
It's gonna be crazy at WrestleMania 40 when Cody beat Roman Reigns with that third Crossroads wearing them shows. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy.
I already saw like an edited picture with the Nightmare logo on those shoes.
You lying?
I swear to God, I got it on my phone right now.
Send it to me.
Hold on, I'm pretty sure. yeah, it's right there.
9 kgs, that's rent money. Where do you live, San Fran? God damn! This man is out here paying basically $3 million in a $3 million mortgage monthly.
Yeah, I just sent the picture to you, James. Did you see it? Check your Facebook Messenger.
Holy shit! You weren't playing. Wow. Hold on. Before we move on, I can't zoom. Floyd, don't you dare buy them fucking things, man. Don't you dare. It pairs well. It pairs well with the American Nightmare logo shirt. I don't give a fuck. Don't wear them. Do not buy them shits. Don't do it. All right, we can move on.
Who's got a better shot at performing at the Super Bowl, Kanye West or Chris Brown?
Oh my God.
Neither. Look, Chris Brown will never overcome Rock Nation. So by default, Kanye is kind of goofy as that sounds.
You would say that, but it's like Kanye went independent. He's done. He'll never get it. He went independent. Hell no.
Yeah.
Didn't they platform that man's new last album that just came out?
Yes, I think they yanked that man's shit, and he was like, "Yeah, I got to sell that shit myself." He's selling music just like me, James.
Here's a better question.
After all these years, on the same level.
So my question is this: why the fuck is Kanye West making a collaborative album with Ty Dolla $ign? What?
I wouldn't know.
What?
I didn't listen
How
to
many
it.
checks and shows and 360s and deals and everything did Ty Dolla $ign mess up in order to be like, all right, well, I'm stuck doing this lame ass shit with Kanye now. Selling the records and streaming, it don't work no more. I gotta do songs with Kanye.
Like
What?
there's like a segment of people that will try to like there's like an audience for that shit, right? Like, and I think they sold like maybe like 140,000 the first week. He's independent or whatever.
All right. What about
which is
week
good? But yeah, we know that shit's going off a cliff.
Right.
Like it's gonna be out of here.
That man goes. Will that man sell 35? Will that man sell 45,000 records next in week 2?
No, he's out of here.
That's my point.
Any thoughts on the late great Carl Weathers? Yes, I'm glad you asked that question because he passed. We didn't get a chance to talk about him. So yeah, Carl Weathers, most of you guys know, played Apollo Creed in the Rocky series. Also, he was in Happy Gilmore, I believe.
He was also in the Predator series, and he also
Action Jackson.
Yeah, I'm about to say he was also Action Jackson. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't see
which was the what do you call it? The inspiration for Booker T being was it G.I. what? G.I. Bro.
G.I. Bro.
Yeah, that's where he got that from, Action Jackson. Yeah.
I only knew him as Apollo Creed. I never saw any of the other stuff.
You think I saw Action Jackson?
No.
Oh, man. Nah.
It sounds like it's before our time.
It sounds like blaxploitation. It's not necessarily blaxploitation in the classical sense, but Action Jackson, okay. Who do you think you playing with?
Yeah, I thought this guy was a phenomenal actor. I believed 100% in the mythology and the lore of Rocky and Apollo Creed, by extension. And I don't know who you could have got that had been like, all right, basically, he walks in the door and he's like, all right, so what is this character? You're Muhammad Ali.
Right.
And then like, but what you're going to do is actually make that shit your own. Amazing. Like, the whole thing with the Apollo Creed, I'm kind of just going to talk about the character, but like, to me, they are one and the same, right? So what he did in the role of Apollo Creed, it was like this black man in the 70s that wrapped himself in the flag, that was insanely prideful about who he is as a fighter. And I think you find out about Apollo and what kind of athlete he is in Rocky 1 before the fight even happens. When they're in that fucking room and Mac Lee Green can't box, he's like, all right, get me a ranked contender. He didn't say he wanted some whatever. He was like, all right, can we get a ranked contender? That was his first default thought. And I was listening to Rummy's Corner, who floated that out about it. And that struck me in a way I had never thought about before. Obviously, the whole story with Rocky was great. I loved him as an actor, take on like so many different things. Like he's the villain in one movie. He's like the ultimate showman. He becomes they become friends. And he's just got like this great sense of humor, seriousness, just bounces. He's a virtuoso of an actor throughout this whole thing. And then he dies. Like he literally goes through, the top of your career to the death of a boxer, right? And it's just like when he turns around in Rocky 4, he's like, don't you fucking stop this fight. And it's like you just remember everything that you went through with that character, and then get sacrificed essentially for the story. I've heard people make arguments that Apollo didn't have to die, but I'll save that for another day. Eventually, we will do the Rocky podcast. We've been talking about it for like a decade or whatever, but
a decade. I think we've been talking about before we ever did the podcast.
Yeah. But Carl Weathers was so great in the role. Like whatever, like there are some people that will argue the story of like of the Rocky series is not Rocky. It's actually Apollo Creed and everything that.
I mean, you can say more of that now that if you're including the Creed series.
Yeah, it's like everything fucking starts with him and like his vision to give this guy a fucking chance, and then like how Apollo changes throughout the first 4 movies. That drives the fucking story.
Yeah.
So he was great.
I don't have anything to add.
Very sad. He passed on, as a lot of these folks in Rocky are starting to kind of do. And I only hope that Sylvester Stallone can do another movie and Rocky can die in the movies before Sylvester Stallone dies in real life, because I'll be really, really I'll be sad either way, but I'll be kind of pissed. So, yeah. Kingdom. What would the NBA landscape look like if Kevin Durant never went to Golden State? Would LeBron and Kyrie have went back to back? Would the Warriors never been able to win more rings? Would Kawhi still be a Spur? Would KD have gotten a ring? What teams would Paul George and Anthony Davis be on? This is a complete Marty McFly zone, and I'm almost tempted enough to take you up on it.
Oh, okay. So my immediate thought, which is kind of the thought I think a lot of people would have, is all right, if the 2017 Cavs were a lot better than 2017 Cavs were a lot better than 2016 Cavs, but they ran into the greatest team ever assembled. That was the best basketball I've ever seen played by two teams, and one team was clearly superior to the other one. I don't know what advantage the Warriors have if they just have to re-sign Harrison Barnes. I don't know. So I've always thought that if they just basically brought back the same teams they had the year before, or no Kevin Durant's on the Warriors and the Cavs do it, I think the Cavs beat them again. I think it still goes to 7, but I think they beat them again.
I agree.
Now then after that, it's then you start getting into weird territory, and I can't really foresee it because free agency moves, people, there's unforeseen injuries, and going down the rabbit hole of all that stuff. So I don't know where Kevin Durant goes. I think Kevin Durant probably, if he doesn't go to OKC, do you think he stays? Or if he doesn't leave OKC to go to the Warriors, do you think he stays? Where do you think he goes?
I think he would have to look around to someone like maybe
he did not
Houston.
Want to play Westbrook anymore. He just did.
Yeah, he didn't want to play with Westbrook. I don't think there was a chance in hell he was signing with the Celtics. I know Seth Rogen in the comments saying that the next best option. The Celtics were they weren't there yet.
Remember, he did the trip to Fenway when he was out there on a road trip or whatever else, and people start thinking all that. But it's
I don't think that was actually
that was
happen.
A thing that Boston really wanted him badly, but nobody ever wants to go to, no superstar ever wants to go to Boston in free agency. No one ever does.
Maybe he wants to play with James Harden earlier. Maybe they
Houston
open up the slot in Houston.
Well, trying to think. What did
he definitely wasn't going to the Spurs.
Didn't Chris Paul opt in to be signed and traded to Houston?
Yes. But not till 2018, right? Yeah.
So we're talking about 17. So I don't know if that slot's available at that time in 2016 for KD in Houston. I'm not sure.
Yeah. As far as Anthony Davis and Kyrie or Paul George, I think Paul George, his destiny doesn't change too much, except he never becomes a Thunder, I don't think. I think he probably plays out his contract with the Pacers, still ends up a Clipper. Or actually, he could have probably became a Laker because, LeBron wouldn't have been there. Someone would have went to LA, but I don't know who.
Yeah, because it was always a spot where it was almost like a power vacuum. It was people wanted to be Lakers, or everyone always wants to be a Laker, but no one wants to be a Laker when Kobe is there, and at this point, or old Kobe is there, and no one wants to be a Laker now when it's old LeBron now, right? And the whole idea was supposed to be a transition over to it being AD's team, but I think once LeBron retires and AD's still around, someone will want to show up there and be there because AD, he's been fucking awesome again, but he's not he has the ball at the end of a game guy. He's just not. And there's always going to be somebody that wants to be that guy in LA.
Yeah. I do think the Warriors would have eventually got back to challenge later on.
Oh no. I don't forget challenge. I don't think if they're ready to show up they never win another title. They win another title. They just don't win 2017 one.
Yeah,
Like
you
Kyrie's too volatile. Kyrie's too volatile to think that's going to become a three-peat dynasty thing. Hell no.
Yeah.
And then like that doesn't necessarily stop like 2018, right? Obviously Kyrie's gone, but like I know people are going to laugh at me when I say this, but it's like, look, man, the Rockets won 65 games that year and were up 3-2 on the Warriors, and Chris Paul fucking went down. Like, and then they missed 1 million 3-pointers in a row, and they still only lost by single digits. Like, I understand that people will want to, because it's Chris Paul and it's James Harden, people want to laugh at them, but it's like, hey man, the way people talk about LeBron James is like, so nobody's actually clutch. Everybody's a choker, huh?
Everybody.
Everybody.
That's right. That's right.
Choker. Nobody has
everybody's a fraud.
No one. So
That's
it's like,
right.
hey man, like I would have liked to see that series of like Kyrie was still on the 2018 Cavs versus that Rockets team. I think they still would have got built or whatever else. That would have been fun to watch because I think those are two. I think like the 2017 Cavs and 2018 Rockets are two of the best teams that didn't win the title.
Shout out to Tunnel Talk. Know y'all loving all this. But
you told me to listen to their podcast and they clowned on me or whatever. So I didn't have to see. I was like, what did they say? You were like, they made some shit that said that I said something from 97. I was like, all right, well, what did they say? Well, we'll play it. So like, I'm up against it for time all day, right? I get to 32 minutes in, I don't hear shit like, hey man, I don't have time for this. I'm sorry. I'll get back to it when I'm done. I'm sorry. I'm 32 minutes in. You should have gave me a timestamp, Rich.
Question comes from Rambone Slam Pig. Appreciate the questions, Rambones. He said, if there is an exodus of talent from TNA in response to Scott D'Amore's firing, where will those people go? Doesn't seem like many will break through in WWE. AEW seems pretty stacked and not in need of mid-carders, and the yen is down bad. Are you? And so I think you brought us some great points, actually, Rambones, because I think what people sometimes forget is like, it's cool to like, they sent that letter out. They're doing all these things, right? But at the end of the day, Scott D'Amore was fired, right? There's not spots elsewhere, and those people, bills will still be due. So It sounds nice what all they're doing. No one's going anywhere.
Yeah, and I think if I remember correctly, like since this question was already asked, like it's already been announced that like Josh Alexander is re-upped. So
correct.
That kind of answers. I mean, that answers one big question.
Or they read him up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was a team option.
Yeah.
Damn.
Exactly.
Damn. A franchise tag, your boy.
Yeah. Rambone says, are you worried that QT Marshall coming back into his previous role will negatively impact the booking and presentation of AEW? Maybe it's a coincidence, but his departure coincided with a drastic shift around the time of the Continental Classic and onward. I am not worried. I think the tone has been established at this point, the goodwill amongst the fan base. I think QT, quite frankly, started looking around, didn't hear the phone ringing. I think he's coming in with a lot less, I don't know exactly how to term it, but like, I think he's much more willing to play a role rather than try to force his ideas where they might not necessarily be in line with what's going on.
I think it's quite interesting that a person that is a Rock cosplayer is coming back knowing the role. I think it's kind of interesting. I have some concerns. They're not major. As you mentioned, if he comes back, he's had to come back, humbled, if you will. So, the creative has taken off without him. I'm not saying that's a correlation or causation. I'm just saying like people are gonna look around and be like, well, what do you really know about this? Because like this shit got better when you were gone, and it's not like there's also other major factors like MJF's off TV. It's also improved around him not being there too. So yeah, he is not going to be an on-screen character. So go nuts. There are a lot of people that I think are negative influences on AEW's potentially are negative for AEW's on screen that aren't on TV, like Jeff Jarrett, and he ain't on TV, and TV's been better. So I think Tony Khan can kind of spot and recognize bad ideas or not good ones at the least, and avoid them so far when it's not MJF as champion.
Yeah. I don't think there. So it's just kind of amazing, like what the reporting around all this was. Like, you want to be a main event wrestler somewhere or whatever, and then whatever happened or something didn't happen wherever the fuck. Like, can we just keep a spade a spade? Was this man like trying to get into the Fed, and then the Fed was like, The Rock was like, why would I hire you? I have me.
Look, man, I think I sent a message to you off air like a week or two ago. I was like, hey man, did Big Cole not pick up the phone for him? Did Big Cole have to avoid that call? You see the air code, he's like, nah man, that's QT. I ain't got nothing but bad news for him. Hey, Brandon, just tell him I'm busy with Liberty right now. I ain't got the heart to tell him that I can't get him this job. I can't do it. Break his heart. He always wanted this.
I think at the time of QT's deal being up, and then to the time of his announcement of coming back in, WWE drastically changed.
That's true.
So where that
it's funny because
influence may have gone.
You'd be like, there's no job. Like, there's no jobs. Like, but jobs but it looks like jobs gonna open up soon next 6 months. Right? He's like, looks like jobs. Like, there will be open positions for me. Like,
yeah. Just not right now.
I can't predict the futures, man. I can't predict the future, QT, and your bills are in 30 days. Your bills are in 15 days. You can't just, that's a lot of pressure.
Look, it's like this. Cody would be like this. He'd be like, we keep eyes on him in both places. I'm over here, you over there. We're stronger apart, actually. Like that. That's what Cody's doing. He's selling them.
No. Has Cody? Here's the thing. That works if Cody hasn't signed that, hasn't re-signed with WWE. Do you think he's re-signed? Because I think he's re-signed.
I think he's re-signed too.
Yeah. So do you think he's kayfabe and be like, I might. And then he's waiting.
Absolutely.
And then it's gonna work. It's gonna work until Meltzer dropped that report. And then QT be like, "Well, Meltzer gave me the scoops."
Hey, you know how when LeBron James and Dwayne Wade got in that plane, and he was like, he didn't even tell me about his contract. I was leaving the next day. I'm signing with the fucking Cavs. I'm leaving. That's exactly, bro. QC Marshall has no idea of Cody's real contract status at all.
Oh shit!
Cody can fuck around and string that along as long as he wants.
Look, bro, Dwayne Wade, LeBron James friendship can withstand a few, some eight figure difference in pay for on a contract. I can tell you one thing right now: QT Marshall and Cody Rhodes' relationship cannot. they ain't never made that kind of money.
Nope.
No, absolutely not. That shit will fold like a house of cards.
King Dom back again. He says, who would Hulk Hogan be proud of more? Kazuchika Okada for putting over nobody on the way out, or The Rock stealing the spotlight away from Roman and Cody?
I would say Okada because The Rock couldn't get the main event. Or he gave up on it anyway.
I was going to say, he could have got it. But he backed off it or whatever, right? I think Hogan initially, if The Rock went through, took the booze, stayed a babyface, and was just like, fuck it, we charge him forward or whatever, I think Rock or Hogan would have loved that. He was like, hey, there you go, brother. Like, just like I taught you, come in. You, even though they're getting over or going over, you're getting over. Like what, Hogan did to The Rock, but, IWGP champ, Kazuchika Okada working with these dudes decade younger than him. Think Hogan would have did that? Nope. Hell no.
I'm leaving. Hey, Brett, Shawn, Undertaker. No, I'm leaving. I'll come back one day. I'll come back.
Paula, where did it all go wrong for Seth Rollins? 2019. I can tell you.
Hold on. Let me think of my answer. When did it all go wrong for Seth Rollins? I'm going to go to... Okay, I got my answer. Go ahead.
2019, when he revealed himself as just one of the most unlikable people in the world of wrestling. Combined with lots of terrible television where he was assassinated as a character. That stuff with the, talking about Mercedes on Twitter and going at her about, main events and all this other unlikable type
Moxley.
of shit. They'll take the food off the table, Moxley stuff, the awful rah-rah leader guy, fake leader guy at that.
That one even... Okay, so Meltzer got reports that he did that after the hostage tarmac situation in Saudi Arabia, that he had a rah-rah speech in front of the guys. Seth then said, that's bullshit, Dave. That's not true. Meltzer recanted the story. And then, by the time we got to Survivor Series, he turned his gimmick into, I am trying to be the leader guy. And then he had some type of psychotic break. And then he became this uncharismatic Messiah dude or whatever else. And he only had one follower. And it was like, wait, so it's not true, but you decided to use this for heat because you and Meltzer have had this thing with each other for the last couple years that's been weird. It's like, okay, you dork.
I don't even necessarily mean that situation with the fake leader stuff. I mean, just him going on, this is the launch of AEW, just going on the attack about WWE and just being generally annoying while his title reign's not drawing, while his matches are underwhelming. And then he gets the Fiend tossed on him. So it all fell apart for him in 2019 for me. I decided from then on I would never rock with Seth Rollins anymore.
I think everything changed once he tore his ACL in 2015. He's a champion. He's losing consecutively on TV over and over and over. He ends up tearing his ACL. Then he has to come back, and then they have him come back, and then he's immediately chasing the reunion after that. Mm-hmm. He has the match with Triple H, whatever, but most of 2017 is about him chasing the reunion. With the Shield and a lot of redemption with Ambrose and with Reigns, and I think the Ambrose stuff was actually really well done as far as the redemption of a villain into a hero again. But it was y'all broke up in 2014. Y'all are already getting back together and doing mini Shield reunions in SummerSlam, Survivor Series 2016. All right, man. So yeah, I think that was the ultimate thing was he was at a level athletically that he just could not match again. And it wasn't he was doing the craziest shit in the world, but it's he toned it down so much that it's he kind of just wrestles at a certain level. And don't get me wrong, he's still a great wrestler, but it's I thought the guy before he tore his knee out was could have in a different platform without the restricted plate wrestling that is WWE, could have gone to New Japan and been and could have done something really at a high level. I don't think that now. I just don't. And I think that's ultimately really hurt him as the answer to be a more palatable guy or more palatable answer to the indie darling that Vince and Triple H want to push post Daniel Bryan, post CM Punk. He became too much of a WWE guy as opposed to being the counterculture person.
Yeah, the idea of Seth Rollins is always a lot stronger than the actual Seth Rollins.
And also, he's always sat behind the 8 ball because of what his voice sounds like.
What? What should the matches be for Okada, Ospreay, and Mercedes at All In?
Well, I mean, You want to go first, or should I go first?
You go first.
Okay, for Ospreay, I have Swerve, and for Okada, I have Omega, and for Mercedes, that's a good one. I never really thought about it. But let's say Jamie Hayter. Why not? She didn't get her match in Wembley last year. Hopefully, I mean, if she's still alive, she can get a that or a tag team match to do Jamie and Britt versus I don't know, Mercedes and somebody else.
Yeah, that's not a bad option. I think we're definitely getting Britt and Mercedes in there somehow. So I'll go with that. Swerve and Ospreay, and yeah, probably Okada Omega.
I mean, if not Omega,
Takeshita.
do you do Takeshita?
I do Takeshita, yeah, and Okada.
Okay, I mean, because like that then preserves the situation where like you can keep the Don,
and then I do Danielson,
and you can do like the
Omega.
Okada's here to help Omega. They do this mega. They do the mega tag team or whatever else, and then they break up from there. And then you send and that gives Okada something to do as he starts in AEW in a program and give you a reason to like him or reason to care. You have the backstory because of the lore of the 5 matches they've had already, or 4 matches they've had already.
Keem, he says, who should win Best of Super Juniors this year? Hiromu.
That's why I didn't say nothing. Looked at you because I'm like, I want to say Hiromu, but like, you can't be Hiromu. You gonna win it fucking again? But yeah.
Again.
Look, man.
Again.
Okay. All right. You could put Wato over. You could.
Yeah. Fuck it, Master Wato.
You could put Wato over. But if you asking me who I would put over, Hiromu Takahashi. The fuck? I'm putting Liger over in the junior division. Fuck Liger. Fuck you thought it was.
Oh.
Especially after the way that Despy beat his ass, he need to get that back.
Yeah. As another point for, I said Swerve and Ospreay. I saw a lot of discourse about, I think AL sent out, basically the graphic. He said he wants to see Swerve versus Ospreay for the title. I think a lot of people went into hysterics over who's going to have the belt win, who needs it at a certain point, who doesn't need to win it. Like, all right, I understand new people were coming into AEW and you were burned by this once with CM Punk and stuff like that. I'm here to tell you,
this is a person that's been in the promotion.
I was going to say, the people that are coming in here with Okada and Ospreay, they are coming to be part of the company. They're coming to be part of the ideals of the company. They're not a threat to the company. Like, they are not going to start a show. They're not going to start a show on, on Mondays or Sundays that is going to be like New Japan centric or whatever else. And then like Okada just comes out, no, that's not what they're doing. Like that's never going to happen, right? It's not going to happen. Like those guys have known these people for all these years. They also have been in AEW doing matches, doing programs over the last 2 years. This isn't the same thing as like CM Punk comes in and he's happy to be there until he's not happy to be there. And then he wants his own way on how to do all these things. And he's like in other people's business. Yeah.
And then gaining influence
entirely different thing.
And then gaining influence via star fuckers like FTR. Not the same thing. Oh, also, since we're not doing a review of Dynamite, you notice that Dan Garcia and Edge had that match. They laid out with the Concerto Edge. Garcia's out there helping Edge, which leads me to it's going to be FTR and Edge having a match together to face the patriarchy plus whatever plus 1 or plus 2 they have. I can see it coming already. That's fine. But it's like when we call FTR starfuckers, don't say we just made it up out of thin air.
Yeah, and also like I don't think Okada and Ospreay coming in, I don't think the average AEW main eventer looks at that person like they ain't got it. Like I think they walk in with a lot more respect. Like be like, hold on, I gotta like put this old guy over. Like, I don't think either of them would be looked at like that.
I mean, maybe not. I know they're not going to be out here thinking that like they fired or that Tony Khan fired some guy that they liked because of some disagreement in the past. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think that comes with Okada or Okada or Ospreay. Yeah.
So like, we talk about it in Stardom when people come in that are talented and they have to get pushed. Like, it's a competitive business,
right?
Like, these people are ready to compete. The people that are been around, they're ready to compete. Like, I call Swear right now. He's ready to compete with anybody. Like, so like what we're going to get out of that is great fucking wrestling. Like, hopefully. So like, chill until the next episode. Yeah. Chill until the next episode. Brandon Van Candio, who would you book Okada for his first feud in AEW? Malachi Black. Let's see you do a job.
His first feud?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to see the lights go on and off and people, and in 5 seconds and people running in, running out, underneath rings and spinning mist with Okada. I'm really not doing it.
Prove us all wrong, Mal Black.
Because look, once you start doing that, it's like, wait a second, you got a Japanese wrestler in here and they're getting the mist spat at them. Is this appropriation? Well, I don't know how this works. Anyway.
What?
Yeah, man. I don't know. I haven't really thought about it as far as the opening feud. I mean, is he going to look, because we've never done the dynamic of Western television for pro wrestling television week with Okada ever. So it's like, you think about what he's been, we're like, all right, at his best, he's like the mountaintop and he's the summit you gotta climb. Or he is like the dickhead, like, that's on top and like rubs it on your face and he's on top of everybody. Like, it's like that works as a heel. I don't really know who you give as an answer for he faces. Like, does he just beat the shit out of Orange Cassidy and take his international title?
Eddie Kingston.
That'd be a good one. That gave a lot of people good reason to hate, but I kind of thought that's what Danielson was going to do. I thought Danielson was going to take it off Kingston.
Not sure. Let's see.
But then again, that would go against. And again, Danielson's probably begging Tony Khan to lose that match too already. So whatever.
I kind of want to get Okada in there with somebody he's not really connected to almost at all. Like, just kind of like a dopey exhibition kind of. That he can have a great match. Kessler and Shibata, right? No, I'm playing. Not yet.
You know what's funny? I actually thought when I was watching Adam Copeland versus Daniel Garcia, like, I was like, look how hard Cope is hitting Garcia. I guarantee Garcia ain't allowed to hit him back that hard. And they made me think, like, you know what? Put Shibata and Copeland in the ring and see who's allowed to take liberties. Like, see who's allowed to actually hit who hard. Because that's going to be one of the matches where either they got to slug it out or it's going to be the softest pillows. Which, I don't know which one, but I like to see it. All
right. I got one for you. Actually, I got three, right? And y'all tell me, if I'm crazy or not, right? I wasn't serious with the Mal Black thing. Daniel Garcia, Ricky Starks, or Sammy Guevara. Any of those three will work for me.
Starks, Garcia, or Guevara?
Yep.
You want me to rank those?
Oh, no.
Okay.
I was saying, those will work for me. Yeah.
Gotcha.
From at SHT named Roderick, is it too soon to ask for a draft of who stays and who goes to Rossidom? I think we kind of did that.
It's still too early. It's just a guessing game. We'll know in like a few weeks.
Yeah,
they got to start announcing for like that Philly show if they're still doing it.
All right, let's go over to the Discord. That was all the Twitter questions, so the Discord gets even wilder. No Deontay. As I open the One Nation Radio thing and see Cody in a kufi. This is going to be pretty funny. So first question, from Curry Goat. He says, will the WWE diehards find shame before Mercedes debuts in Boston?
Will they find shame? No.
Never.
No. Let's move on to the next thing. Got to remember, this is all just a rhetorical thing. There's no people
there's no bottom.
There's no people taking accountability for being right or wrong when they say things, because it's just slinging mud, and whatever the next day's slop is, they'll throw it.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying that's they're inherently bad people because of that. That's just human nature when it comes to talking online when this kind of shit. We're just stuck in the mud, all of us. Those that throw it, those that are just watching people throw it, because we're next to the fucking we
next to the shit. Eventually, we gonna be like, hey man, what's that smell?
Yeah. Kinda.
Dr. Lariat, what's going on? He says, happy Black History Month. I wanted to ask, did you guys ever feel obligated to like black wrestlers just because? Like for me, I liked guys like Batista because he was dope, that he was also Filipino, and that added a bit for me. Same reason I stand for Shuri and Jeff Cobb, but they all happen to be dope. Did you guys ever cut dudes like MVP or Kenny King slack due to shared blackness? It seems weird that some black fans cut Cody slack for being the culture when he never has been. Also, when you when you eat Brazilian barbecue, do you use the chili sauce that comes with chopped peppers or pico de gallo? I use pico. I also use chimichurri sauce. Unfortunately, I've never had Brazilian barbecue. I did go to Fogo de Chao over the weekend. That was awesome.
You went again?
Yeah, I did. I had a gift card. It was awesome. I meant to ask.
It was a bunch of questions. Let's break it down.
I meant to ask, when you were here, did you get JJ's?
No, I wanted to, but I didn't have time.
Right around the corner from me.
I know. I saw it, and I said it to Sarah on the way out. I was like, "Hey, man, that's I want to go here, but no time." Yeah. And also, Ashley, Sarah's a very picky eater, so Ashley is naturally a very picky eater because her mom's a very picky eater. So it's like it was like Chick-fil-A or place they even heard of or nothing when I was with them. Yeah, so it is what it is. But I was trying to go to JJ's chicken, or was it chicken?
We gonna get you right. We gonna get you right.
Yeah.
So as far as being obligated to like black wrestlers just because, okay, no. When I started watching wrestling, it was 1996. You look around, there's not too many like black wrestlers that are out there. It's like Ahmed Johnson, Rocky Maivia comes along. I like him or whatever. He's a young guy. He was a rookie, blue chipper. He was smiling. I like the good guys.
I said Norman Smiley.
Oh, you stupid. Who else? Booker T, Harlem Heat.
New Jack.
I like Harlem Heat. They were cool as fuck. I wasn't watching New Jack at the time, but I would have loved New Jack had I known about him then. But these are all people that I liked kind of for their talents first, rather than their blackness. I would say. Now, will I give someone a little bit more, like, hey, they're trying to figure something out, it ain't clicking all the way, I feel like for me, I will defend black wrestlers where I need to, because I feel like I'm aware of like when people have complaints about them that don't hold water. I'm like, that's bullshit. I know what this is. This is something else. But the people that I'm generally into because I fuck with like their talent, their ability. Swerve, Ricochet, like these are all guys like I loved or whatever, like over the past 10 years or whatever. And I like guys. I like Trick Williams. I like what he's doing. But they could easily be not black, and if they were like doing a lot of the same stuff, I would like them too. So I don't know. How do you feel about it, James?
When I was younger, I recognized with the black wrestlers that were around, right? But like, I was a kid, so like I was always focused on like I'm rooting for all the good guys. Like whatever. Like if you're a good guy, I'm rooting for him. If you're a bad guy, you're evil. Fuck you. So you know, like it vacillated. Like when like The Rock turned babyface, like after Nation Domination, and like he was on 98 going to 98 like Deadly Games Survivor Series. I was like, yeah, let's go. And then he turned back heel again. I was like, fuck this motherfucker. I was so mad. I was furious with The Rock.
Bro, I hated when The Rock turned, bro. I was like, man, fuck this.
And then The Rock turned back babyface over the years or whatever, so I was back into it in that way. And then like, he lost WrestleMania in 2000. I was like, fuck this. I'm done watching wrestling, because why the fuck is Triple H the winning in WrestleMania main event? This is fucking stupid. Like, I'd rather watch Randy Moss on Mondays. Fuck this. Like, and Brett Favre. Fuck this. So it basically changed everything for me. But yeah, like there were black wrestlers that I enjoyed or whatever. It was like Booker T, for example. And it was just like, I never really thought about it. Like, I liked Ahmed Johnson as well, but I liked them. It wasn't just necessarily that they were black, but as I've gotten older, I've noticed like, you know what? There weren't that many black wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
And then like you hear about like what they're looking for out of wrestlers, like that's like almost dime a dozen out of every like major college football campus. Why are they not like? Why is it not like mostly black? I used to think that way. Like you're looking for large human beings that are athletic for their size and have big muscles and are charismatic. That sounds like 40 people off of Florida State campus off the football team right then they'll make it to the league, or Florida or Miami. What are we doing? It used to be weird. I was just thinking about like why people didn't, do whatever. Maybe they didn't think, they thought the wrestling shit was too fake or whatever. I don't know. But, over the years seeing, so many different talented people is like, that's cool, because like when I was young, I felt like there weren't that many. And there's so many more now, and there's so many, and it's really cool to see so many different like types of black people in these different gimmicks, as opposed to just being like, they are here to smile and have a good time, and you gotta have all the tools and all that kind of stuff, and just basically be a white baby face and not have any edge to them. I like that we have like someone like a Swerve that has like multi layers to him. Carmelo Hayes, another one, has layers to them now. To see like the New Day like become this all-time WWE act has been really cool over the last decade or so. Yeah, like so like I guess at a certain point as I've gotten older, more conscious to like the discrepancies in entertainment. And kind of
knowing what they're fighting against, and they're knowing what they're fighting against too. And it's like, right. Oh yeah, like we talked about a New Day a lot, right? And there was like people that said they were jigging, they were cooning, they were doing all this stuff, right? But like what I thought the New Day was doing was bringing middle class blackness to like their characters and stuff like that. Like they were basically like, all right, we're not rappers, we're not gangsters, we're not muscle men. Biggie was a muscle man, but the New Day was much more driven by his personality than his muscles,
right?
Like and then Kofi and Xavier, and it's like, yo, their bond of friendship and then their humor,
right?
Like that's a completely different thing, and people can't take that away from them.
Right, and their humor was just like so distinct to anything that was like happening on major American pro wrestling history, because it's like those lines are not lines that a script writer that works for WWE is coming up with. That's what shit they were coming up with, like on the spot, based off of what they saw trending that particular weekend, while they was making towns to and from getting on, and they said, let's throw this into a promo, and it will pop the hell out of me every single week, and that's what got them over. So yeah, like it's been just literally like in the last decade alone, it's been like, wow, like look where we like Kofi Kingston was a WWE world champion, was WWE champion. Like, yeah, that's crazy. Remember, like he was in a doghouse, he got tattoos back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Like it's really cool to see all these new people like pop up from year to year, and then like you see they get their chance, and like you see this talent, like like. I think I think Sierra was telling us about Athena when she was on the Indies. And then to see her, next thing I know, like the first thing I see her was Takeover in Orlando versus Asuka. And they she was so awesome, they tried to turn Asuka heel on her. Asuka. Didn't work. They had the rematch, it was great. Didn't work out in WWE. On the main roster, they were trying to turn her into a stupid gimmick, and it didn't really work, and she's not a great promo. And then, they sent her back to NXT, and she's awesome, and she's great in NXT again. But at that point, she's there to, more or less teach people, and then she ends up in, they get rid of her, and then she ends up coming over to Tony Khan Pro Wrestling, and, she's been awesome. Like a Willow, I never would imagine someone like a Willow a decade ago. I figured that's like some, say they would have made it some type of, she's unattractive, she's a monster. Like they would have Nia Jaxed her. Mm-hmm. And she could just be her, she could just be her bubbly self here. And I think that's really cool. And, there's gonna be more. And I think that's the cool thing is you actually see proof of concept now as opposed to just being I have to be the inspiration I want and change I want to see in the world. Nah, the change is there. Now you just come and be you and kind of breathe and not have that kind of pressure on you in the future for future generation. I think that's cool.
I look at someone like Powerhouse Hobbs, for example, and I'm that man, he comes out, he's a big jack dude. I'm this dude's from Oakland, whatever. They're showing where he's from. And stuff like that. I'm I could imagine a Powerhouse Hobbs being from Oakland. I understand this.
I thought you were gonna allude to the shirt, and then I think it's appropriate now to talk about to have our second Caleb Baldwin reference of the show.
Oh my God!
Did he actually buy that shirt?
I don't think he did.
Okay, because he said I'm gonna wear that one day on April Fool's Day or some shit. I was like, bro, just save the money. Say, please don't. Just don't. Or not. How about that idea you just had? How about we just not do it? How about not? How about no?
I will say when I see black wrestlers doing certain things, it's gonna connect with me a little bit more. Some of the things they do that I don't think maybe the rest of the audience might get, or when some of the humor or something like that, it'll connect with me more, as I've gotten older.
I mean, I gotta say, when they have those backstage beatdowns or offs, the fights or whatever else, and I see Naomi or Bianca tearing the house down, that I feel that is a more visceral reaction to when, Naomi was out here beating the hell out of Mandy Rose. It just felt more realistic, the beatdown, as opposed to, the typical brawl back fight backstage or whatever shit. Washing them hands come down like hammer fists. It just means so much more. It really does.
Yeah. And
remember when Bianca kind of made her main roster debut by throwing
Carmella in the trash? Yes. That was years. That was years in the making.
Why did I not see that meme on February 1st? Why did I not see that as a gift?
Question from Leah from Tunnel Talk. She says, if you could turn one wrestling feud into a movie or TV series, what would you choose? So I would think it would
into what medium?
Into a movie or a TV series, what would you choose?
A movie or a TV series?
I think I'm going to stick with movie because movie is probably a little bit easier, and I'll probably say something like the Mega Powers breakup. It feels like a really easy movie to make.
Yeah, yeah. I think storyline wise, beat by beat, that still might be the best thing WWE's ever done.
I actually would probably argue something else. Actually, so if I'm going with a TV series, Brett and Owen. Absolutely. Brett versus Owen.
It's up
there. With Brett and Owen, they start, together, kind of you start seeing, the movie begins, the great Bret Hart is the champion, and then his younger brother is toiling in international wrestling around the world, trying to make a name for himself, finally gets to the big leagues, teams with his brother, has a falling out, gets back together, turns on him, through all the jealousy and everything. Austin and Brett would be a good one too. but like there's no like real end to that. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
And then, you know, they have the big fight, and then Brett loses, essentially, which is the twist in the movie. Like, hold on, he fucking lost? And then it's like, how does Brett get back to him by the end of the movie or whatever? And then after he beats him, he fucking aligns with Jim Neidhart, so the odds are fucking stacked on Brett even further. And, you know, I think it's a really great storyline.
Yeah. I think Batista and Triple H Inside Evolution is a good one. Not something I'd say just like immediately comes to mind is like that's way up there on the list, but I'm saying that comes to mind is like that's one you could do and it'd be a good piece of film, or TV actually.
I mean, WCW essentially did this with the Crow. They're like, yeah, we're gonna have Sting paint his face black and white, carry it back, and hunt these niggas one by one. Like that was literally the Crow.
Yeah, but like the second act takes forever. The second act of that takes forever because you have to do like, well, yeah, it takes too long. It's too much. There's too much filler. But I get what you mean. Yeah. I mean, you could do stuff like, well, the soap opera element, if you will, Eddie and Ray.
Oh man,
Dominic, because it's a fucking soap opera. I'm your poppy. Like, get the fuck out of here. Let's see what else you got. You can do Shawn and Jericho.
Yeah,
that'd be a good
the
one.
punching the wife.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a number of them. There's another one. I don't know, like necessarily. Obviously, I'm assuming she means you're adapting some of these stories to fit or whatever else, as opposed to and take some liberties to make it fit better for the medium. But like I think a lot of the New Japan stuff works really well based off the part where like you base on the sport and you put the emotion behind it. And you know you can kind of build up this stuff kind of like similar to like Rocky, right? Where like the big matches are the fights or the big fights and everything. So yeah, you know, I think that I think Okada and Tanahashi is a big one. Like this is young punk coming in with dorky hair and terrible looking teeth, and then he shocks the world, and then like they go back and forth over time, and they learn they become like peers and respect each other along the way. Yeah, there's a few. If I had to pick something right now that's going on right now, I would be Swerve and Hangman though.
Yeah, they got something cooking. Like, and it seems like they're just gonna go a bunch of different ways with it. So, I think the rise, like the four pillars in All Japan in the 90s, would make a great TV series. Like basically you would start that with the departure of Jumbo Tsuruta essentially, and then showing, you know, essentially like Masawa being the man and everybody chasing him.
Budokan, and they go from there. Okay.
Yep. And then like it ends with, you know, Giant Baba dying essentially. Like, but
and showing everybody leaving to start Noah except for Kawada.
Oh my god, yes! Like Kawada, like what fucking happens or what happened to him? Yeah, he stayed.
Yeah,
he finally got to be the man until Keiji Muto showed up. Oh, you know, that way we get Big Dave in there with the hair getting banned by Motoko Baba in there. Sheamus Nova. Peep how y'all didn't mention the Bloodline or the Devil storyline. We did not.
Were we supposed to?
Wasabi King. Conspiracy theory. Do you also think Big CM is rushing to make WrestleMania in order to get a bonus payday? Okay. There's no way in fuck he'll actually make it to be able to wrestle, but he will be there somehow. He will be wearing a suit. Like he is getting some type of WrestleMania payoff. Like he's gonna find a way to show up, whether it's to do an interview, whether it's to do commentary on something, whether it's to cut a promo. He's gonna be there. Like,
hey, you know, WrestleMania is it's a big show. Might need him to help break down the ring. Do you remember that meme they had of Vince and Seth backstage, and then the caption is Vince talking to Seth in his ear, and then they're like, this like at the end of 2019, there's like, it's Vince saying like, if you could break down the ring, that'd be great or something like that. It's like, I remember that to this day. Like, that's how bad it was for Seth. We're like, bro, they got Vince out. They got memes of Vince saying like, can you break down the ring? Help us break down this ring. And it's like, bro, this man is making $1 million from this company, and that's how bad it is for Seth right now in 2019. That's crazy.
Brewhaven, what do you guys make of Michael Chandler calling out Conor McGregor on Raw? I saw this on Twitter, and I was like, this is the new future. Get ready. Where the washed up UFC guys like are being integrated.
I don't know what you mean by future. Ronda Rousey.
No, corporately integrated in.
Oh,
like,
okay, gotcha.
The decisions being made for you. Oh, we're gonna y'all got how many people watching this week? All right, we putting some of these people over here to promote this here fight. And I think the guy did like a parody of what his idea of a pro wrestling promo is. Just yell and scream, whatever. That's some of that corporate synergy. You know, I hate when things are reverse engineered and all that, but that's not my fight. So the WWE fans will have to deal with that intrusion and weirdness. That's on them. Hopefully they build an octagon or some shit like at one of these shows, and you know they can just use it from time to time.
Fight pit.
Why not? 10 for 10. So man, 10. He says, if Swerve doesn't win the championship at Revolution, when's the best timing to avoid losing fan interest? If he doesn't win at All In, or excuse me, if he doesn't win at Revolution.
Okay, so if he
Revolution
doesn't,
seems like such a nice round like number, like because he debuted at Revolution, so like it kind of is perfect. But
yeah,
I don't know.
I would say this. There is one outstanding scenario where he could not leave out a Revolution for me that I think it'll make perfect sense and could even be better than if he were to win in a 3-way match. Because, you know, 3-way match is not exactly the best idea to, you know, crown your champion in this promotion, to crown your champion off a 3-way, a new champion off a 3-way. Yeah, that's some real WWE shit. Swerve has the match won on Samoa Joe. Hangman steals the pin. He becomes a 2-time AEW World Champion. Swerve then goes through the rankings, gets another title shot, wins at Double or Nothing 2000, the next pay-per-view. I think that's the only feasible scenario that makes sense, where like he doesn't necessarily lose momentum. It's just to cement the part where like Swerve is the guy everyone's supposed to cheer now, 90-10, and like Swerve or Hangman is now the guy you're supposed to boo 90-10. Do you get that, fans? He is undeserving because this man cannot beat this guy fair and square anymore. He is now cheated now. We reverse course. Now the cheater is cheating, or the person that's been cheated is now cheating, and the person that was cheating doesn't want to cheat anymore. We have switched this.
Look,
we know we did that third match for you to understand this about the part where we did the draw, and the bad guy said 5 more minutes, and the good guy said no. But now we're trying to get through your minds where this has been a double turn now.
Look, there's also another option where Swerve
nasty. I already know. I know. I see you laughing.
Or Swerve
what are you about to throw out on the table?
So Swerve is away from the action, right? And Hangman, his whole mission has been, I will never let Swerve win this fucking belt. This man takes a dive to Samoa Joe by either tapping out on some shit that he ain't got no business tapping out at, or, you know, he submits or whatever, and Swerve's not part of the decision, and Swerve's like, you fucking robbed me. You quit like a bitch, essentially. Like, and then, you know, Hangman taps, obviously, because he's, you know, people are starting to boo him, like, people like, you tapped out, you quit.
He'd rather tap out the AEW, he'd rather tap out to give up the AEW World Championship than let Swerve win it.
Yes.
You know what? I like that, but I also fucking hate it.
Yeah, oh yeah. Hangman can smile at him and then tap or whatever to drive it home.
That's too much.
That's nasty.
That's too much like Denzel. That's too much
nasty.
like Denzel at the end of Malcolm X smiling before he gets assassinated. That's too nasty. No, I can't. I can't.
Nah, man.
I can't condone that. They make me like
Trish will get on a plane and
like,
fly to my house.
You say me? Fuck you. No, I can't. That's no, man. Like. You know how we talked about over these years, like what are we supposed to like? Why? What is this thing that compels people to Hangman in ways that like I don't get? He does that. I'll be like, all you people that was yelling at me or whatever, look at your mans, look at your boy tapping like a bitch. Like, look at this sucker shit here. We have never seen somebody stoop to such a level. Nah, man, ain't no way. No.
Oh man. So Dr. Larry also says if the best friends went to Freaknik, who would be the one to get lost and all that? I think Chuck would be the most at home. Also, would you guys ever do an AKA bit? I don't know what that is. Maybe James does.
Hold on, man. What year are we transporting to put best friends there?
Let's put them there right in the prime. Let's drop 94? Them off at 94. 95,
I gotta tell you, I don't see Tunnel Talk gonna be mad at me. Tunnel Talk gonna be mad at me, so I don't want to do this. I refrain. You know what? I abstain. I'm not answering this. You answer, Rich. 94 Freaknik, best friend show up. You tell me.
94 Freaknik. Okay, so.
I'm imagining the white people that are listening to this and don't have no idea what the fuck Freaknik even is. It's gonna be great.
That's
like,
fine.
What is free? Oh,
that's fine. Y'all look it up. I'm not explaining for the sake of the joke. So,
go ahead.
So it's gonna be hot out there. It's Atlanta.
Yep.
So Trent's in good shape. So he's gonna be shirtless.
Right.
Trent's bound to pull a few in just off that. I would think. He's kind of got like that expressionless, kind of look on his face. I think he'd be able to handle himself. I think Chucky would be like I feel like Chucky T would be like, they'd be like, you all right, white boy, you all right. Like he would be getting in the wrong crowd. He would be getting into some mischievous as well. He would be definitely walking down the highway because obviously people couldn't drive or anything. But I would say Trent would make it home. He'd be like, okay, I had a good time, blah, blah, blah. But Chuck, they'd be calling to see where the fuck he is.
Okay. Now, are we only doing the tag team best friends or are we talking about the entire group? Because
how about the entire group?
I gotta tell you right now.
Look, Statlander walking around there?
Sorry?
Statlander walking around there?
I was about to get to Chris Statlander. Chris Statlander shows up to Freaknik. Thank God that was in the Twitter back then. I don't want to see the think pieces. I don't see anything about Chris Statlander in Atlanta and around all these people, around all these men. And I don't look. All I know is I think she do well for herself. That's what she wants to do. And I think there would be a group of people that didn't like it.
In the comments, come on, James, get canceled. No.
So I'll move on to Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy will be in all the pictures. He will be like the Where's Waldo, or he'd be like, actually,
oh my God,
Where's Waldo's not the right word in this particular thing. He would be like the what do you call
Spy.
it? What do you call it? Weekend at Bernie's. He'd be Bernie everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Instead he had the shades, you wouldn't know he's alive or dead. He'd just be in every picture, like, thumbs up.
Yes.
Everywhere, wasted.
He'd be in that picture like with them cops, and the young ladies, and then Orange would be like right there. And y'all know what picture I'm talking about. Those of y'all that know.
Oh my God.
That's right. Spread.
So while that one cop got his spread open, he be next to it just.
Yes. Exactly. With the glasses on.
Oh my god! Yeah,
unreal.
As far as your takes on, you think it would, Trent would do well at Freaknik, and you think that there will be struggles for Chucky T. I that's exactly what I believe. I will go further in that, but I will leave it alone because they think I don't like Chucky and I'm being mean to him. So I'm just not gonna say nothing. I will say nothing. Can't say I ain't being mean to him because I ain't say nothing.
So, would you guys ever do an AKA bit? I don't know what that is. Is that something that has to do with like a fraternity, or when I hear AKAs, I'm like, all right, is that like
the step stuff?
Yeah,
with the cane, because AKAs had the cane when they did step stuff. Like it's they have a cane that's white and it's red, like the swirl on like candy cane. But like I don't know if that's what they mean by bit. I have no idea because I'm not that Black Greek life. I'm not familiar with in that way.
Yeah, same. Zach Porter says, with New Japan on Death's Door, do you think TK ought to finally utilize the already established cyber agent relationship?
This is a serious question. Who asked this question?
This is Zach Porter, so you know what this is.
Oh, okay. All right. I didn't know who asked the question. All right.
This is Get Baba, you fucking news nerd. This is what this is. Why not? Why not work with Cyber Agent more? They're working with everybody else. CMLL, everybody. The doors is open in AEW. Come through.
I don't know how you champion for Cyber Agent in this day and age when Nakajima's not there, and like they just spent. He spent so much last year with Jake Lee as a top champion. Like we got our things about Sonata. Sonata's Sonata's better than fucking Jake Lee. Are you kidding me? So yeah, man. Whatever, man. Like I get it. Like his guy was the Black Ace and everything, and like the company was better off with the other guy being the guy, and he realized and he can't accept that, and I get it. But like, look, man, like it's now your world now. Your guy is on top. He is now the ace of the company.
The captain of the ship.
Yeah. And as this shit goes down, and as this shit sinks further and further into the abyss, there will be nobody to blame except for Tetsuya Naito.
Hey man, I'm gonna start making people cry on Twitter. Like, let these numbers start not coming back the right way. All right, but yeah, he should definitely use the Cyber Agent relationship, just because I think Cyber Agent, I think there's some worthwhile wrestling there.
Yeah, and I mean, look, I'm still holding out hope that like they got a fed for Rossi, or they got distribution for Rossi at least. So we'll see.
Two questions.
But most of the Cyber Agent stuff, at this stage of the game, with a lot of the senior main event scene of TJPW being different, Gambear going down. Post Muta, Noah, post, Katsuhiko Nakajima, Noah. Mm-hmm. The whole, like the Bushiroad hoeing of Kaito Kiyomiya. It hurts. That hurts. It's not good. Not great.
Another question. Two questions from Curry Goat. He says, do you see 2024 being one of the most important years for Black wrestlers in some time? There's a lot happening right now, with Swerve potentially being next up as the AEW World Champion. Mercedes Moné is about to play an important role in AEW's women's division. Michael Oku is doing big things in Rev Pro here in the UK. Cody Rhodes possibly finishing the story and so much more. He's clowning. Just wanted to get a heat check on this.
Brother, yeah, I love a heat check. You bounce that shit right off the backboard. That shit didn't touch rim.
So, when you put it like that, like sometimes we don't necessarily like realize all the kind of like important things happening around us. The biggest Black wrestler ever, The Rock, shows back up. Swerve's like been the hottest wrestler for like the last, I don't know, 7-8 months. Yeah, And, you know, he looks like he's got a bullseye on the AEW World title. Mercedes Moné is going to basically write her next chapter in wrestling.
Yep.
So that, I think that alone like makes this by default like one of the biggest black wrestlers years for black wrestlers in a way like there hasn't been since like maybe 2019, I want to say.
Yeah.
You know, with Kofi Kingston,
right.
But and you know, Athena's still doing her thing as well. But yeah, I definitely see it as one of the most important years.
Yeah, you almost have to. Like WCW never looked like this. Right, and you can't say it didn't have the opportunity because I was around for 1998 Booker T. That motherfucker you could have went to you could have went somewhere with. Like could he have been a solid number 2 babyface with Goldberg, you know, doing the streak thing? Absolutely. It didn't end up that way. So yeah, like there is a, you know, WWE, you know, they've been around for all that time. And they're at a spot now where like I don't think people necessarily that are fans of WWE I even think about that stuff that much. And like it's cool like for AEW after seemingly feeling it that they were feeling the struggles watching it over time for representation amongst women of color, amongst black wrestlers, men. To see that we're here in like they have wrestlers that aren't just ex WWE people. They have their own identity. Like you could say, well, you know, Swerve was in WWE, so is Mercedes. The Mercedes we've seen post WWE is not the same person. Like if you want to say it's a difference of John Moxley versus Ambrose, sure, but they have their own actual stamp in approach compared to how they were portrayed on WWE television under the vision of Vince McMahon. Swerve, that, you know, Hit Row, that seems like a million years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm wrong, like the aesthetic hasn't much changed, but there is a depth and a sickness that was not on display in WWE or NXT while he was doing very well in NXT. That is here in AEW. So yeah, it's really cool to see that like they have their own ecosystem of stars seemingly, and I don't think this is the end either. So I think that's the cool part about it is like, when we talk about, you know, people going back and forth eventually over time, like it's also going to be black wrestlers. And like, what is that going to be in the future? Like we saw how well it worked out for Cody. Like what's it going to be when like, you know, a few years from now, I can't say them come back crawling because like, it'll probably be a new regime, but like Rock makes that phone call and hey, Mercedes, what do we got to put on this paper to, you know, bring you back in? And because I think that's the thing with some of these wrestlers from that are like the AEW people that have roots in AEW and feel like AEW people that also started, but also you know them and had a notable career in WWE, like the Christian Cages, like the Danielsons and Moxleys. Like I don't think they're never going back. Not necessarily even be wrestlers on screen, but like I think you're going to go back to WWE to like do the retirement of WrestleMania thing and do the speech and all that kind of stuff, and still work in wrestling behind the scenes when their days are done. So like it's going to be interesting to see like when those people, because the way generation turn over, like those people are going to be black wrestlers more and more. So I think that's also cool. Yeah. It's going to be just, you know, it's going to be more people besides just Mark Henry.
Yeah. His second question from Curry Goat: what is with the insane loyalty, even if you can call it that black WWE fans show to the company? As a black person myself, I have always found it confusing that black people are so dedicated to the promotion. It is even more confusing when they are actively attacking black journalists and personalities such as Lyric for not enjoying the product, downplaying the achievements of black wrestlers, and other companies, or downright try to turn the entire fan base against them for choosing to exist outside the WWE and act like the WWE way is the only way of doing wrestling. What's the deal here?
I have some answers, seeing that, like, when we started this podcast, I came on and said, like, I'm not watching anything aside from WWE because that's the big leagues. That's their show. That's their show. Like, there might be others like it, but this is their show, and this is what they grew up on, and this is what they watched, or they're a certain age, and they're not into following, like, the New Jack shit that, the Ospreys and the flippy dudes are doing now. Like, they think that, like, hey, like, I grew up on WCW cruiserweights. That's as far as I'm fucking taking it. I might go as far as the X Division for TNA. Like, anything beyond that is too fucking ridiculous. I'm good. I don't know to watch these 20-year-olds do ridiculous shit or whatever else. Whatever. I think a lot of it is, like, people don't want to change. People don't want to watch all this shit. And, like, I don't hold it against you for not wanting to watch all this shit. But, like, if I'm coming to you, I'm normally, more times than I am coming to you in good faith when I say, hey, this thing that you like, if you like it, cool. I think there's stuff out there that you would like more if you gave it a shot, because I once was you.
Mm-hmm.
And, I feel like the people that, people like Floyd, people like Tanya that are a little older than us, that love WWE still, or whatever else, they're open-minded to, like, when they see some other stuff, they're like, oh, that's interesting. Okay. Mm-hmm. Whatever else. If it's not their taste, they don't like it, cool. Like, Floyd, I don't think we'll ever get Floyd to like Gunther, right? But he enjoys watching the Young Bucks. Right? Like, Tanya even on Twitter this week said that, like, she liked the part where the Young Bucks came out with the white suits and they're wearing Sting's blood, every week. They like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and this is a time when, 3 years ago, all this is flippy shit, super kick masturbation, fuck out of here. So, I think it comes down to, like, are you willing to are you open-minded to if you're in this wrestling stuff and you see people send stuff, are you just quick to dismiss it, or are you actually willing to engage with it in good faith? And if you're not, that's your prerogative. But you ain't got to bring the rest of us down with it and be like, look at this lame shit y'all watching. Y'all watching minor league shit. It's like, bro, like, I'm trying to watch people hoop. Like, go back to the conversation we had to start this. Like, I'm trying to watch people hoop. Like, what got me back into wrestling after all these years was a wrestling match. It wasn't a feud or a storyline or a love triangle or any of that. It was Shawn Michaels, Undertaker had one of the best matches in WWE history at WrestleMania 25. I got a copy of it, watched it, was blown the fuck away, and it got me back into watching, WrestleManias. And then The Rock showed back up, and then the Pipeline happened, and then One Nation Radio.
Yeah. So, like, I think black people, much like any other wrestling fans, are subject to tribalism.
Yep.
Even when you're, let's take it out of wrestling.
Is being a WWE fan like being a Cowboys fan?
Yeah, that's what they would. They grew up with that. Like, so, like, when you talk about just things in general, demographically, right? Say if there was, like, let's do nice round numbers. Let's say there were 2 million WWE fans in the world, and I don't know, 500,000 of them are black. Let's say that, right? Within the ecosystem of wrestling, each company progressively has less fans, right?
Yep.
AEW will have, in this situation, they have 1 million fans. New Japan Pro Wrestling has 500,000 fans. That percentage keeps getting lower of how many black people in total are inside of each one. So it's going to be like the people that like this, like, when I would go with Jeremy and I would go with Josh and we go to, like, New Japan shows, like, we wouldn't in, like, 2017 and stuff like that, or Ring of Honor, different stuff like that, but, like, yeah, there's not a lot of black people around here, but a lot of that comes down to access, availability, like, as far as, like, whether it's a financial commitment, whether it's also a, there's a McDonald's on every corner. There's not a Five Guys everywhere.
Right.
Like, and most black folks are eating McDonald's, like just by numbers.
In Five Guys is expensive as hell. Because I can just watch. Because look, I already paid for cable. I can just watch. Yeah. I just watch Raw or SmackDown. I got to pay an online streaming service to watch New Japan.
Yeah.
If I'm not, internet savvy, know how to steal it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's a part of it too, as you mentioned.
As far as them actively like attacking people like Lyric and all that, I think that's suckerism. I think that's hoishness. I think that is people being threatened by somebody that has their own opinion and is not afraid to go against like the majority voice. Remember, I just talked about those numbers. There's 2 million WWE fans, 500,000 black ones, right?
Right. There's more Ice Cube Juniors than
there's more Ice Cube Juniors and several other people. You can name them all. Y'all know.
I know a line you was finna use. You decide not you pull your punch on that one. You about to say Corny son of a motherfucker, weren't you?
Yeah.
See?
Yeah. I was.
He didn't say it. He didn't say it.
I didn't say it. James did. But as far as them like attacking Lyric and stuff like that, that's just like they see her tweeting about Katsuhiko Nakajima and they're like, it sounds like it sounds like a foreign language, but like it actually is to them. Like, because it's like, hold on, this don't compute. Like, you not. Like, that's for the white people, like the Japanese wrestling and stuff like that's for, and I think like a lot of people are not comfortable having these conversations in a logical, mature way. So what they do is turn to assaulting people in their DMs and harassing them. And,
and hers is worse, of course, she's a woman too.
Yeah, so like she's getting it, and props to her. Like she be swatting their ass too. Like it'd be funny, like when she be swatting them. But like the more like Lyric, like her profile like raises in this thing, the more she's going to threaten people. Like and make them feel uncomfortable. And then, like I said, it's that tribalism too. It's like people are wrapped up in that stuff. And then
and for
you throw race in there, and then you throw wrestlers of different races in this thing, and it's like it all gets fucked up and it's nasty, and there's a weird loyalty from a lot of black fans, and I see it, and I don't understand it personally because I don't know how you look at WWE and you be like, this is the company for us, like they've always done right by us and all this, like this is just what you had. Like, this is just what you're used to. You don't want to open your eyes for something else, because like we did all the conversations about black wrestlers in AEW, and it's crazy. The closer Swerve has gotten to the title,
people aren't happier. The people that would be the ones that saying like all white wrestling or whatever else, they're not happier about this Swerve thing.
Right.
I thought
so. Like, I feel like we're actually getting the answers to what it really is.
It's just more mudslinging. Gotcha.
It's not actually about Swerve. It's not actually about black wrestlers in general. Right. It's just something else. It's WWE versus AEW. It's just another. It's another fucking chapter in the book.
Right. And the thing for like me and you is like we're watching the shit and we're like, yeah, they got a point, but they're not saying it in good faith. Now let's have a conversation about like for people to actually like have these concerns in good faith. And we've had those over the years. And then like as this thing has gotten progressively better, the women's division and black wrestlers is like, oh, y'all
not getting down? Y'all not getting down?
It's a ghost town.
Y'all not getting down with it? Like, oh, okay. So
now they're bringing in Mexican wrestlers. It's like, wait, what's the problem with them bringing in Mexican wrestlers?
What? Yeah.
You don't understand the story? John Moxley's an asshole, and they want to beat him up, and then like they start beating each other up. Like now they want to fight each other. It's a pretty simple story.
Yeah, and it's. The wrestlers are acutely aware of this shit. They're not caught off guard by it. I can tell you guys now. They know what the grift is, what the games are. Like they understand. when they switch, like Swerve switch jerseys. You think he's not aware of the dynamics at play? It's kind of easy to see. So, as far as like that loyalty, like like there is no black company. Let's just put it out there. Like there is no black company. I mean, there are different things that happen.
Terminus.
You stupid.
What's the shit that looks crappy wrestling at? What's the shit called?
Not
Flow Slam. It's something Slam, right?
Hood Slam or something like that.
Ain't Hood Slam for us by us?
Look, Ashe wrestling in North Carolina. That's what's his name? Joint Darius Lockhart.
Who owns For the Culture? I don't think it's us actually.
No. If you GCW.
Right. Which of course means no. I don't know, man. What else we got?
So 2 more questions. Seth, Rich, Rogan.
No, I was thinking like, what else we got as far as like, can we think of like any other black fans?
Black fans. They got the Pan African Championship that's like that kind of floats.
The one. Wait, was the Pan African Champion the shit that Caitlyn had won that one year when she was woman champion?
No,
that's a different one. Okay.
Different one.
Is Pan African? Wait, what about the shit where they ain't got the ring yet?
Not sure. Ugandan wrestling, soft ground. Right. Oh, okay, yeah. Ugandan soft ground wrestling. Yes.
Yeah. That's us.
That's us.
That's the ass for. I mean, it better damn well be us. Who the fuck paid for this shit? Can you imagine? You're like, God damn it again.
Deadlock Pro. Yeah, like, Black Fan. Deadlock Pro. Yeah, lots of black wrestlers there.
Man. Doesn't your boy James Darnell own that or no?
I don't. James Darnell. Yeah, but they book a lot of black wrestlers.
I know they do, but they don't,
Yeah. I already did the whole thing with GCW and like tearing them to shreds. Man. You can
watch that clip on YouTube.
Yeah. Them trying to turn the fans against them, like it's hoishness. Like that's all it is.
It's self-hate.
Yeah. like all that shit is too close to white supremacy for me. Like like we gonna make sure these niggas don't prosper for our niggas over here. That's what we want. What? I don't know. Seeing as how it is Black History Month, we look a lot of questions, about the race, James. Here. So
the race.
Been a long time since we got a chance to talk about the race.
The race. Is that a double entendre? Is that a double entendre?
Sure. Oh my God. Seth Rich Rogan says Scott D'Amore and other TNA people leave and create their own company. It'll be called Pro Wrestling No Ass. I'll hang up and listen. Seth Rich, come on, man.
Did he say Pro Wrestling No Ass?
Yes.
I mean, Naomi ain't there no more. I'm sorry, Trinity's no longer there. She took the ass with her.
She's not. He says the second question. Pro Wrestling No Money. That's great. So, in your most optimal world, how would the AEW mid-card belts work? Would they have defined identities? Open challenge belt, touring belt, would they primarily have their identities be defined by their holders as they seem to be now? I don't know. I'd have the Continental Crown be like essentially like the IWGP Intercontinental title in the old days, like where it's right on par with the world title. Just because you have so much like great main event level wrestlers, like they need to bounce, I think, between those two belts. And everything else can kind of be used like international belt. Like I would use that, how the SW, like Stardom really had the right idea like a couple years ago with how a lot of their belts work. Like the young person's belt, this international belt. Like,
before they got the strong and IWGP women's titles.
Correct.
And they're fucked
Correct.
Up. Yeah. When they said the SWA, I get what you mean.
Yeah. And they got the ROH belt already, blah, 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 but that's a part of the Triple Crown.
Yeah.
TNT belt, I think there should be an old guy's belt, kind of like,
a Masters
the Masters division. Yes, the Masters division belt. And, the TNT belt can be that. TNT, an old ass network or whatever. Continental Crown's like your 1A, and then International is like your, all right, we want to elevate somebody like Daniel Garcia would be great for like either the TNT or the fucking International. Like you want to put it on like a young work rate guy, you give him the International belt or whatever, or a fresh work rate guy like Orange Cassidy. And then your world titles is your world titles, and Continental is like essentially right across from it. That's how I would do it.
I kind of wish that I think the title holders have obscured like what the purpose of each belt was at the time, or what the purpose they served. Right now, like Orange Cassidy, like the international title is supposed to be an excursion belt, but Orange Cassidy has had that belt most of the last year and whatever. So like that's not a thing. The Triple Crown, I mean, obviously that's going to be used. That's now taking the place of that because of Orange Cassidy, with obviously the ties to New Japan Strong and Ring of Honor. You're obviously going to see a lot of back and forth to Japan over time, or you imagine it will be. And then the TNT title is supposed to be, kind of like what the old ideal of the white belt was in Star Wars. Like this is the face heartbeat of the company. Maybe not someone that's going to be a champion. Not necessarily to be the AEW World Champion, but like someone that like when you think of AEW at this moment in time, you'll think of them in the runner half. So like someone like Orange Cassidy would have had a TNT title run. Someone like Eddie Kingston would have had a TNT title run. Darby had multiple TNT title runs, right? Like that's the example. Swerve would have had one by now. But it's been tied up in other stuff, and right now it's been tied up in seemingly the Masters division.
Masters division, yeah.
But yeah, like if we ever get back to those ideals, I think they all are all kind of out the way of each other. Obviously, I think there's some overlap between the international and the Triple Crown, because obviously they serve what would it seem like the same purpose at the same time. But like Orange Cassidy had his belt so long that you like I don't even know what does that purpose even still matter anymore?
Right.
So who knows?
But yeah, that was our last question, man. So, man, you guys came through with like a real episode of mailbag questions.
It's gonna be funny to like the timestamp this NBA All-Star weekend mailbag questions.
Mailbag, yeah. Light week for James on the tagging. So. Like for,
I don't know how you gonna clip this shit.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to clip interesting questions, and shit like that. I got a couple ideas,
okay,
of what we're gonna clip, but yeah, I guess that's a fucking wrap.
All right, thanks for listening, y'all. If you are not watching the stream, I'm sorry, if you are watching it from the stream. Be sure to go to our podcast and go to our show notes to the Red Circle link and donate there, and listen to the other shows on the network. Besides One Nation Radio, you have Keepin It Strong Style, the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show. Oh my God, I said Ricky and Clive. Yikes! Let's do that from
in the archive.
Let's do that again. Yeah, those are in the archive.
Bike.
Yeah. Let's start again. Besides One Nation Radio, you can listen to Keepin It Strong Style, All Things Elite, MWE Adventure, Wrestling Art with Chris Things, Tunnel Talk, and the Trish and Sarah Wrestling Podcast. Boy, I went into autopilot. I went into autopilot on that one. As I was pulling up the notes to make sure I get in the right order. I was like, let's just go on autopilot to answer. All of a sudden, like that Ricky and Clark, and I was like, oh yeah, that's not current. Old. That's the old way.
The old way, yes.
Yeah. But thanks for listening, y'all. Have a good night. Later.
Peace.